All right, it is 7:02. I will call this meeting to order. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody out there, we ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Flag of the United States of America.
To the republic for which it stands,
And one nation under God. One.
All right, please silence your cell phones. I will call the meeting to order at 7:01 on January 15th. It's my daughter's birthday, so I should remember that. All right, I will entertain a motion, or you know what? I will make a motion for the approval of the agenda. Is there a second? Any discussion? Other than we are stripping Teresa Heckle from this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so one modification, Teresa said she will come to February or something.
No, she said she didn't want to speak. She just wanted to make sure that it was on the
Okay.
agenda.
Alrighty, so other than that one minor adjustment, I will entertain a vote, signify with an eye in favor.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, agenda good. Link to the meeting from the previous week. Our month is on your agenda. And I believe, I will make a motion for the approval of the motions from December 18th, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? John Willett and Tilly sure show up on here a lot.
Oh,
There's some no show.
Oh, I did. I was here. Had to get poor Linda to get me invited into the meeting. All right, all in favor of the motions from December 18th, 2023, signify with an eye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes unanimously. All right, unfinished business and new business, parking stickers, RFID.
No.
Oh,
the 3 minutes.
skipping past it. All right, Melissa Jens.
Yeah.
Speak loud. You can come to the.
Melissa, I live in Spring Lake. Thank you for letting me talk to you about having our lake treated. We bought the property in 2014 and we built in 2019. In 2014, when we bought the property, you could go out on Spring Lake and it was as clear. That was one of the reasons we bought. It was so clear. When we bought in 14, we would come out every single weekend and stay in DeSoto or in Festus in a hotel. And so we would bring family, friends, everybody there. You could swim off of our dock. Right out, beautiful, nothing, you know. Since then, I know people have said, well, we're just a fishing lake. But I have issues with that. We're not just a fishing lake. It may have been that in the beginning, because when we bought our property, we were usually the only ones out there. It's not like that now. We have nothing to have 6 to 8 boats tied up together. We're out there swimming, having a great time. There have been more and more people bringing boats in. There have been more and more homes being built than what used to be. So there's a lot more people out there. We're having fun. It's not just a fishing lake. If it was just a fishing lake, my thing is then why does the big lake have the fishing tournaments and we don't? Why, if it's just a fishing lake, do the smaller lakes get treated and we don't? So that's one of the things. The other one is that we've heard, because of the country club, he waters from there and stuff like that. There are things out there that can be used to treat it. You guys on the big lake get yours treated, but you water your yards, and I haven't seen any of your yards dying. My thing is I think if we brought Dave Tucker in with us to sit down and discuss, I don't think he's against treating the lake, treating the lake as long as it's done to where it doesn't harm and that's not what we on Spring Lake want either.
Come on.
We don't damage his we don't wanna damage his golf course because it affects us. We don't want to damage the fish either, you know, because it affects us too. We just want it to be clean. Right now, you get out there, and I've got pictures that I can forward to you guys if you would like, of the algae on there. It is ridiculous. You can't even go down our steps to get out into the water. I call it ickies. I can't stand to try to get in. You've got piles of, you move your boat and the whole inside is just algae, covered algae. Even now when we all get on the boats and we'll go out, you'll be swimming and all of a sudden algae will be all around you. That's all we're asking for, is to, you know, if possibly to be treated with that. I've also heard, one lady that is dead set against treating it, and I'm not gonna mention names, and I will in private if you wanna know, has said it's dangerous. You don't wanna be using the chemicals, they're dangerous to us. You don't know what you're doing to us. Well, for God's sakes, the Big Lake's been using it for how long? Has anybody died because of the chemicals on the Big Lake? Do you not have fish on the Big Lake? You have fish, you know. People would rather fish there because it's bigger, so I don't see how it's damaging the fish. Oh, another thing was that it's a spring-fed lake. That's true, but I guess I don't understand that enough to understand if it's a spring-fed, why doesn't rain apply to the same thing? Is it taking it and making it not as strong or whatever? I just want you guys to consider it and to get Dave Tucker in here and talk to him about it. And, you know, all we want as a community is to have a clean lake. We don't want to damage anybody. And if you can show us that this is going to hurt something, we'll back off. You know, that's not who we are or what we are. We're not you know, hear a lot of complaints when people go around Spring Lake, and you're not going to. But this is something that a bunch of us feel really we want.
So I will touch base on a couple things. Dave is not against
Right.
joining a meeting, and I think we got a meeting with the water treatment next month, correct? So I suggest we invite Dave to that so he can get educated as well. His main thing is, if you can find a way to treat it properly, he has no objections. If we destroy his golf course, we're in another mix of problems. I don't know the whole fishing lake thing. I know somebody said that it was written, posted, stated somewhere, and everybody's hanging on to it. You know, it is what it is. We're gonna do our best to get the lake clean if we can, and I will tell you, it is extremely expensive to get this crap out of here. And the big difference between a spring and a rain is a spring is constantly moving, so there's constant water flowing, whereas the bigger lake, if you don't get rain, nothing moves, it just drops. So that's not that it's diluting anything or helping anything that way, it just is by having a spring, the water is aerated more. But we are going to try to do something. We got about $17,000 in a dredging fund. We're going to try to build that up where we get about $100,000 in there, and then we can hire somebody to at least do the two big lakes. I don't know where the two smaller lakes sit, because I haven't heard anybody say other than I've heard one person mention that they're down to about one lake over there because it's shrinking in, but you know, definitely our goal is to do all of them at the same time, if possible. But just so everybody knows, it's not the board's big lake. It's not the board's big lake. It's just that, you know, it gets treated bigger because there's more people around it, more homes, and you know, I don't know what the reasoning behind it is, but it is just extremely expensive to get these lakes treated, and we're trying to do the best with the least amount of funds. And I know when we had Solitude, it was great. They were expensive, and put it nicely, we just couldn't depend on them. And I get it, it was during COVID and they were having a hard time getting people employed, but they could have picked up a phone and called us. So unfortunately, they are not in the game, but they did do a good job. Linda?
What is meant by the phrase just the fishing lake? I don't know what that means.
I don't know where that came from. I know
been told to me numerous times that it's just, and if you look on the sign there, it says fishing lake, it doesn't say fishing, swimming.
Because it's a
It-
no wake.
There is, someone is on there is very vocal and.
So no wake,
Mhm.
boats,
Boat.
okay, but
We
no
have
wake.
pontoon boats, it's just no
Fishing's
wake.
okay.
Fishing's okay, yeah, we just wanna be able to swim in it
Swimming
without
is
all the
okay.
algae around us.
Yeah. I'm
It's
just curious,
getting worse,
because
and if we don't do something, we're afraid it's gonna be unswimmable, unenjoyable.
Yeah,
And
I
that,
don't wanna raise a can of worms, but a 53-acre lake should not have to be no wake. If you wanted to putt around there on a boat, I mean, maybe skiing and if you had 20 or 30 boats on there, but. Hell, I ran a motorboat around an acre lake at my
I
house.
have my opinion about. I,
Plus that aerates the water.
yeah, and I get it. I think we should have like the month of May where you
We
could
talked
open
about
up your boat a little bit, because when we puddle. We got a brand new 2020 boat, and they say you gotta open it up, and so the first year we took it out to the big lake and did that, and last year we did not. And it would be nice to be able to say just a week or two out of the month of May, when you first get your boat back into the lake, you could open it up and just stay in the middle channel and back, just to open it up a little bit, and then that's it. But,
it
knowing
would
that
be
it's a
nice
no
with
wait
Motors, we have a lot of issues
with the motors.
You probably would have to restrict the size of the motor a little more than you do on the bigger lakes, but.
2020.
Oh, yeah.
Boat's 4 years old.
No,
I was gonna say the same thing.
you're right. You got, is it 2020?
In my opinion, it's been called a fishing lake. I think that started from the, what do they call it, the ocean oats or whatever, those shoots of stuff that's going up on the banks.
Oh.
They call it.
Cat,
I had heard that somebody actually planted.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
yeah,
there.
cattails, and they're very invasive.
They're not
supposed to be in there.
cattails.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be in there.
They're not cattails. They're American.
It's more the algae, I mean, the weeds that are on the sides where no one has a boat slip or anything, that's good for fishing. We're okay with stuff like that. It's just more so the algae and the clarity of the lake is just dropped.
And
So
and
bad.
that can be caused by other things as well. I mean, like
Stuff
last
that-
year, for instance. They couldn't get out there and do any kind of treatment for a long time out on this lake. And, because if it doesn't warm up enough, if it stays too long, that can affect all the water clarity. I guess in my opinion, I'm looking for some kind of analysis of the water. Where somebody can come along and say it needs help. Okay. I go out there quite a bit myself on Spring Lake there. Yeah. And, I haven't seen probably what you're seeing, maybe because I don't live right there. But, if I go by the lake assessment that was done back in May of 23, where they actually went and did an assessment of that lake.
Who was that?
That was Matt Redmond. That's the guy that does it.
There.
See, there you go. If you don't trust the person that is doing the job for you, then you don't need the person there. But if you're gonna hire somebody, then you're gonna have to trust him.
Then why was he? I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. And that's the thing also is, and God love you guys for being on the board and doing what you do. We get started on something, then there's a turnover of board, then we have to start all over again, but you found this on a lot of things. But I know that he let go one time because I heard the lakes were not, and this is hearsay. That's why I'm not saying anything as far as that goes, but he was let go before because the lakes were not being done properly. They weren't.
Just to correct you on that, never let
Thank
go.
you.
It's a year-to-year contract, so we just didn't renew his contract.
And there was a
What was-
reason for that.
When was, well, probably because of money, who knows?
I
think it
mean,
was 'cause
part of
money.
it was his contract when we didn't renew it. It was like $7,500 a year.
Mhm.
The contract that was brought to us from the last year's
Solitude.
lakes, no, not Solitude, when we went back to Matt.
Oh,
It's like 46 $6,000 a year. So, you know, part of it had to do with how much money were we willing to spend on the chemicals, but, you know, we definitely have heard it where, you know, have very high hopes for this. It's Clean Flow, right, or BioSys.
Things I can, I'll wait till my report.
Yeah, I mean, we got some very high hopes that what this guy shares with us in, you know, in that aspect. We also, I don't know if you talked to the other one, the other
Aqua
Aqua.
Services.
There's another company that bid on the account that,
Yeah, that Aqua Services is Matt Redmond. The
the
other
other
company
ones-
who didn't return, they haven't
Called back
called it
yet.
3 times.
yeah, they might be
Returned my
shut,
call.
but I talked to them last summer. And they said that they do treat lakes that water golf courses, so, you know, we at least have 2 avenues to
Look
pursue.
into.
Yep,
Um,
and you'll hear in a little bit, we're not gonna finalize the budget until we come to a conclusion one way or another as far as, you know, what we're gonna do with the lakes.
Oh, like I said, my thing is, if there's a particular month that you can go and test the water,
mhm.
you know, is it good in the spring, or is it go in the middle of the summer, or at the end, or whatever? This is when you test it. And we can have somebody else do it, that's fine. But before you figure if we pay $47,000 a year for the treatments of what we're getting now. And if we had somebody that was gonna add Spring Lake on, you're probably talking another, what, 15 grand for 50-acre lake, $20,000 a year. That you're to treat the lake. That's fine if it needs to be done. If something that they can do chemically or whatever that they can do to remedy a problem. First, I want to see that there's a problem that can be remedied by chemicals. That's my whole thing about it, because if I got a guy that I'm paying $46,000 a year that does this and says your lake's in good condition. Okay, and his words are, if you get somebody that charges you to do that lake, they're taking your money. What parameters does he go by? And if he's not seeing the algae, then he's not seeing the algae, but if you go by, chemical parameters, oxygen in the water, fish, how many fish per square foot, whatever their parameters are. If somebody does that, if we pay somebody. And somebody comes along and says, yeah, you need to get something done, then we need to get something done, but until I get that from somebody, then. I'm gonna go by this.
Well, I understand that, but I'm also saying that since we moved in 2014, or since we bought the property, I visually can see a major difference in it. And that's where I'm coming from.
It's, I know it's filling in, they're all filling in. And because when they fill in, that's gonna create a problem right there. So, I think when we go back to the fishing lake thing, the weeds that were coming up, those were planted back around 2013. At the DNR said, if you're gonna be a fishing lake, then you plant all these things around and it helps the fish and lets them hide in there, lets them put their eggs in there, lets them do whatever and all this other good stuff. The Department of Natural Resources advised us to put that in there. That said, after everybody started building around there and they were getting jacked off about, I got all this stuff growing in front of my thing.
Yeah,
And people were pulling them out.
well, they do. They
Right,
do.
yeah. People were pulling them out.
Throw it in front of my thing.
Yeah.
You wanna rephrase that?
Yeah. So people pulled them all out, and then other people will come along going, you can't be doing that, you can't be doing that. There again. He says in here, he goes, you can do that, that's fine. That was done for the fish. But if people that live around there want to pull it out in front of their things, it's not gonna hurt it.
Yeah.
But you need to have some there for the fish.
No, that's fine.
Right.
None of us- yeah, really-
It's Glenn here. Why do we have to have the stigma of a fishing lake?
Well, because, when you start saying it's a no-wake lake because it's so small, and
They don't want skiing on it.
they don't want skiing going on, they don't want any of that stuff.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
now that we have houses around there, why can't it be clean? We all fish in the main lake, like she said. you know, fishing tournaments in the main lake. There's good
I think
fish
it's
in the
more of a
main lake.
matter of side, you know, the seawall degradation and the ground degradation around there, because you've got waves are gonna be put up in a small amount of,
No, I'm not
area.
saying that can't be, it should be a no wake lake. It's small enough that it should be no wake, but let's just stop the fishing lake and the swimming lake thing. Let's just make it clean.
If we can wait till I give my report.
Yeah,
I
Kent's
think I
got a
can-
report
I
that
think I
he'll
can
address
fill a
all
lot of
that.
this in.
Okay.
I've done a lot of-
yeah, sure.
I think times
I've
have
done a lot of work
changed
on
that
this
there's
now.
enough
We're-
people
we're
there
talking
that are,
business now.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that I was told last year, at this time or in the summer, that Mr. Redmond would have a meeting and sit down and discuss all of this with us. That never, ever happened. If he could sit down and show me some things, but his mother is the one that gets on there and totally says horrible things to me, will not wave at me as she comes by or anything, because she lives on that lake and does not want it
You
treated.
wanna be the president
Who?
Of
of this?
No.
No, I'm just saying, you said they say horrible things about to you. I'm saying, oh, welcome to this world. We are definitely looking into it. Kent's gonna, have an exhaustive report here on his committee, and we're definitely interviewing people and seeing how it needs to go. And
You know.
Dave,
I
can
will
I
tell
just
you, a
say,
lot of things boil down to money all the time.
Believe me.
Yeah, Glenn, go ahead.
Everything.
oh, I just want to know if we need to have the differentiation of one lake to another. I know it's money, but why do we, now that people have built on the fishing lake, why can't we just treat it like the main lake?
I think honestly, the only really difference I have ever been aware of is they don't allow a wake. And it gets treated or stocked with fish different than the other lakes do, but I agree, a lake's a lake to me.
Well, now that we have more population on that lake, you know, they wanna have fun on the lake and they wanna swim and paddleboard and they don't need to just get stuck in algae.
Right,
So,
no, I agree
All right.
wholeheartedly.
Denny, are you aware of any, there's nothing, any bylaw covenant, anything that.
No, some of
says it's a fishing lake?
our documents that we have on file always refer to it as a fishing lake.
The
That's-
only thing that I
but
know
I
of,
don't think it's legal stuff.
I think Tucker does
Just a
have a
differentiating.
contract that says he's allowed to water out of
Tucker's
the
got the,
settlement.
yeah, we have,
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna say, we found the coffee finally.
Yep.
That was an ordeal.
All right, Kent's gonna talk about that a little bit, and
Thanks, guys.
we will do our best to,
thanks.
Thank you.
we shall call it the non-fishing lake.
Yeah,
exactly. But there are fish in there.
I always call it the second lake. I don't know. I don't remember the damn names. All right, what do we got here? All right.
Go.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Yeah, well,
Seasons.
somebody asked me, I'd be calling the big lake Spring Lake or Winter or something. I'd screw something up. All righty, Joe, you got something about sticker prices?
Last year, you guys announced you're gonna raise the price to $21. Being from high school, it's an amenity, you're charging us to public amenity. It was a 1,125% increase. I've never heard of anything increasing like that in my life. You know, in 2022, you sold 1,736 stickers. And in 2023, you sold 1,237 stickers. That's a drop of 499 stickers. 499 people just like me who don't want to pay $25 per sticker. I think about it. Better things to do with $700. You know, if you want, I'm not saying to drop it down to $2. Drop it down to $5 or drop it down to 10. Make it a little bit more reasonable. You know. It was a thing that I thought.
It's always about money, Joe.
Yeah, but you shouldn't raise the price of stickers just to make.
But Joe, you sat through the meetings. You know that the people out there are who brought up the $25.
Yeah. it was,
Because they said it wasn't up here, it was out there. And, and,
Multiples.
and, you know, part of it came down to the conversation was, why is a golf cart $25?
What does it have to do with golf carts?
Oh,
People
car-
with golf
car-
carts don't wanna have to pay $25 either.
Cars on the road much longer, much more than golf carts on the roads here, so.
The beach, and you're sitting out the boat ramp area. I'm gonna tell you something. I've worked too. But it said this very room, that the reason why they did it was to ensure people have a place to park. I've been going down there for the last 5 years on a daily basis during the summer and in the evenings. I've never had a problem. I parked across the road once, 2 or 3 years ago. I hardly ever parked on that hill, but it was a place park. So that. And John, last month, you said, if we lower the price of the stickers, we're gonna lose money. That must be all about money.
It is about money, Joe.
Well, but it's not a lose money, Joe. Last year, we brought in $31,650 off these 1,266 stickers.
Right?
That money was spent
On what?
running Rangery, everything that we talk about every month on the bills that are paid.
Why
So,
did you-
so we do, they gotta buy a boat sticker for $100 to put their boat in the water.
I pay my assessments.
So do they.
That pays for everything.
I pay my assessments and I gotta pay for a boat sticker.
Well, I'm just saying.
I pay for a golf cart sticker. And so let me just clarify this. This board did not put in a pay to park at the beach. It was already $2. It was already $2. This board and the one prior to this didn't put that in. It was already there. It was there when I bought my lot and paid my $2 for a sticker in 2018
Right.
on it. So it was already there. The only thing that happened was the people that gave us the feedback said that they felt the price should be the same as the golf cart sticker. Well, we didn't have the money to reduce the golf cart stickers. So the feedback was, and the board voted to raise the car sticker
Well,
and
I'm
see what
saying-
happened. So,
I got 499 people behind me. You're saying it's too much.
well,
Joe,
no,
let
you
me
don't,
get
because
there.
I was one that didn't buy it. I didn't buy it because I never took the car to the beach. It wasn't about the money.
Well, you know what I said last
So-
year? I said last year, $8,000. Well, after 12 years of living there. I didn't buy it.
Let me address one thing real quick, and then I want to address something else here. So in 2022, 1,736 stickers, according to yourself, have been sold at $2 a piece. When it was deemed everybody was mandatory to buy a sticker. So over half of the people are in violation of buying a sticker. In 2023, you say 1,237 at $25. So those 1,237 people wanted to go to the boat ramp or the beach. I could care less about the beach. I've never been down there other than to fix a problem. So the $25 didn't matter to me one way or another. So let me address a few things about that. If you can find a way to get people, everybody that owns a vehicle in here to buy a sticker, I don't care what you charge, whether it be $1 or $2. But to your point about saying that it's an amenity, well, it's an amenity for $2 versus $25. So if you don't want to pay for an amenity, saying you're not going to pay 25, but say you're going to pay 2 is completely contradictory of what you're trying to say. It's amenity, it should be included. So either it is or it isn't, whether it's $2 or 25.
So when we-
It's still an amenity.
you said- Next to-
No, it's in the bylaws. It's in the, no, I didn't. I didn't make them. Them have been around for 40 something years. Let me address your email to Tilly. So this frustrates me a little bit because it brings up a bunch of crap, but I'm gonna indulge me for a few minutes here. So you first talk about the 1,150% increase that this board or the previous board had nothing to do. It was a recommendation from town halls and board meetings, and lakes and beaches were involved in it. And we left it up to them to basically bring it to us, and you guys to bring it to us. We did not as a board, all we did is implement what was brought to us. We also had a survey about it as well that went over all that. But what was said, and this is from me and John, different parts of this. What was said is that if we lower the sticker price, well, we need to reduce expenses as we will lose income and revenues. Not that it's about the money, but if we're gonna take less in, we gotta send less out. So it's not about making more money or making less money. It's about what we have net. So it's not about what the $25 had nothing to do with about making money, although this place is flat broke. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I always say
and-
something about that.
Hang on a minute, let me finish. I'll let you talk at the end, and it's gonna take more than 3 minutes. But you said I opposed the board when they broke a contract with every person and announced that stickers would expire 3 months. That was a very poor decision on the board. And an inferred contract was in place with everyone who bought one of these stickers. And I gave proof to Nick King that they were in violation of an inferred contract in late April over Memorial Day weekend. And they can again announce that any vehicle with the 2022 sticker would be in violation, fully knowing that they were violators, not us. So there were 5 meetings on the topic of which you attended. The sticker price was suggested by owners that participated in the public meetings. So you guys are violating your own contracts. We just implemented what you brought to us. Again, I'm saying that again. Yes, a change was made to the sticker timing. That was to make it easier on the office, so things wouldn't be in January and April and June. That was to try to correlate everything to the all stickers be brought and paid for at the same time. The $2 versus the $25, I beat that to death. Also, you put in this email that all of these actions were the work of John and Dave. That personally bothers me.
That was probably.
And I know from an informed source that others on the board were basically left in the dark. The only persons that are ever left in the dark is somebody that when we're dealing with real estate, raises, promotions, financial, and what's the other one? Legal. That is the only thing. And anytime before anything is decided on for all 9 board members, they all are made aware of it. Our meetings conducted prior to that, yes, but it was mainly legal or real estate or raise or an increase or promotion or something. So I don't know who told you that or why they told you that, but I have not left anybody out. And if anybody needs anything from me or anything, I will let you know firsthand. I am not afraid to tell anybody anything. Then you stayed in here. There were other instances such as when a board was considering letting visitors park at the beach parking lot. That never happened, so I'm not even worried about that. Huh? It was talked about, but nothing ever came of it. Then there was, this is what really burns my ass. Then there were accusations made against Dave Getty. There were never any accusations towards Dave Getty. There was a mention of foul play. Mr. Getty requested an investigation. Have you ever read Robert's Rules of Orders?
I don't care to.
Okay, well then you should, because if you read it, you would understand why I did what I did. First off, an investigation is private. Nobody in this room, other than the people that are on the committee, should know about it. Then a decision is made one way or another, either to reprimand them, adjust it, or come up with some policies that fix it. And that's what we did. The mistake I made was appointing Denny and Barb to the board because they were both on ACC. That was a violation and a conflict of interest. And I contacted legal to verify I could read that report. That report stated none of the 3 that I just mentioned, but a retaliation against the person that said there was foul play. So that is an absolute no-no. You do not do anything like that. You do not retaliate. That'll prevent anybody in this entire subdivision from ever submitting a complaint. So you cannot retaliate. If you submit something to me that says, I don't like the way John's doing his board job, that's a private matter between the 3 of us and the committee if it needs to be. If had this not got blown out of proportion, it would have been me, Adam, and the accused in a room saying, hey, this is what you did. Boom, don't do it again. But no, it had to get blown out of proportion. It's none of your business. Who's they? Who's none of his business? He wasn't accused. It doesn't matter. It's none of their business. because of Robert's Rules of Order, and that's what Dave asked me to follow. Yeah, and then you say, because I was on ACC and know for a fact that accusations were based on lies of investigation was ensued by Dave, which was not. I had nothing involved in it. I was the president, that was it. Adam and another person and Dave made a request to do an investigation. That was it. Those are the only people that should know about it. And then when I appointed the 3 other people, because Denny and Barb were on ACC, which made them a conflict of interest, I had to go to the other one. That was told to me by the attorney, not by anybody else, not by hearsay, not by just Dave Wolder decided to not read the thing. The reason I didn't read the thing is because the response to that investigation was to penalize the person that accused him of it. And that can't happen. I got the report earlier in the week. I sent it to legal for advice, was informed not to read it. There were several issues. One being this is a private matter. The letter was retaliatory in nature. The committee was flawed due to several members on the ACC. That was an oversight on my part. The investigation to be informed, to be an information gathering committee. The accused informed me they were never contacted. I was never contacted, or the other ACC members or witnesses. The retaliatory request could have ended in a lawsuit.
That might be, but you have 5 members walk out.
Well, I can't help that. That ain't my fault that they didn't do their job. On top of that,
They didn't do their job.
well, yes, the committee didn't do their job. They interviewed one person, and and from what I was told, it wasn't even an interview. And if you want to talk to Denny about that later on, or Barb later on, that's fine. But it was never a committee that interviewed all the witnesses and the people involved.
True.
So there you go.
Well, I know this much. I was at the ACC meeting and I know, I know there were accusations made and they were wrong. It was one thing, people were saying that they did twisted the arms of some of these people to make them vote for Frank wasn't his
Sophie,
well, I think something else too. I believe that.
let me say something. I have the video of the ACC meeting. Would you like me to send it to you? Because I want you to come back in a month and tell me if nothing was done wrong. I'll send you the video. I watched it 10 freaking times. Well, I'm just saying, Joe.
Hey, Joe, can I just ask something? This is just my being new to the board and finding out things. What do you want from the board? That, it seems like you never are happy with any board and we are trying so hard. There are things that we cannot discuss because you would not want your dirty laundry out there for everybody. And we are trying to protect those people who confide in us. It is not that we're hiding. I'll tell you, this is volunteer and we are doing it to the best of our ability, our moral standards that we have. I am not hiding anything, but there are things you don't need to know. But I'm just saying, you accuse, when you say the board, I take that personal to me because I'm a board.
Like to piggyback. These people are volunteering. As Steve Jefferson's wife, it's a lot more than a couple hours a week. It's a lot more. I spent quite a bit of time working on this lake and beach situation, but Joe, you said in your thing that you're gonna continue to bring this up until it gets resolved to your satisfaction, and I'm paraphrasing, but you said, I'm just gonna keep bringing this up. You know, I think the community needs to keep the board honest, but it's, you live in a community. This is, this.
Because of comments that you're putting on social media. Well, Joe, I just told you here why I couldn't read that, and you're still saying they walked out because I didn't read it. That is not the case.
Would you allow me to finish, please? So, writing things on social media and coming to the board meetings, just continuing hammering away at the same thing, it makes people say, why am I doing this? Why do I live here? Because you're absolutely not helping anyone out by doing that. This is a community, we have votes, people voted for things, people support things. It may not go in your way. There's things that didn't go in my way, but you know what? It's for the good of the whole. That's why these people are here. And there's a fine line, not so fine sometimes, between keeping us honest and just trying to beat the hell out of us. And And I feel that's where we've gotten to. Every meeting, Joe, you come up and you say, you know, I'm tired of the stickers going up. Oh, okay, we get it. But why prolong? We have a lot of things that we could be spending a lot of time and energy on, but instead we hear about the parking stickers every time. The other thing I would tell you is, I'm one of those people, I did not buy, we previously bought a $2 sticker for each of our 2 cars every year. We didn't buy them last year, but we bought 2 hang tags, which cost more than stickers. We haven't used them because we only went to the beach once or twice with one of the hang tags and we bought a golf cart, but we'll continue to pay for hang tags, which, so the math is a little flawed, I think. If you're not counting the hang tags that people use to go park at the beach, your math may be a little off.
My bank isn't.
Well, if you didn't include hang tags, that goes
I
on.
mean, hang tags are totally different.
That's
Well,
how we park it.
Let me say this, Joe,
Well,
and
not
in-
across the street, not in the other
I'm
part.
gonna say something to you.
Not in the other part.
Well, let me finish and then you can have 5-10 minutes if you want it. I don't care. But the thing that you say in here is I will not sit idly by and keep my mouth closed. I did that for almost every PLA meeting from 2011 until 2022. When I see something that is not right, I am going to call the board out on social media. That's what really burns me up, is because you're not, I told you, anytime you want, pick up the phone and call me. I will tell you the honest to God truth. I don't care where I'm at or what I'm doing. I will talk to you. And then you go out on social media and then I see this email that goes to Tilly, which you've now made it part of the record because you sent it to the secretary. And you accuse me and John of it. You accuse me of not doing the report right. And I have followed the law of the Robert's Rules of Order to the best I can. I will tell you this much. Robert's Rules of Orders is over 700 pages. There's not one person living, dead or otherwise, that knows that word for word. The condensed version that you're supposed to operate the majority of your meetings from is 179 pages. That ought to tell you something about Robert's Rules of Order. But the one thing I wanted to say, and John put in here too about the solicitation, we can't say anything without it being the board's issue. That came from the insurance agent and he threatened to cancel us and said we could be canceled if they find out about us, and come to find out they did sell liquor at the luau or whatever it was, a witch's night out or whatever it was. Even after I told people, Nick and I, you know, now he's gone for probably those reasons, that said, all you got to do is call us and get us the proper documentation. There ain't nobody living alive today that doesn't have a way to send an email of a scanned document or come up to this office or do whatever. Somebody could have let him in the office and scanned it and sent it to me and Nick, and we'd have been fine with it. Even though you're still violating the rules, we'd have been okay with that because they didn't get it to us until Monday afternoon. So for somebody to say I don't have a copy of my insurance agent or insurance certificate is beyond me. But my suggestion would be, going forward, read Robert's Rules of Orders, the condensed version, because that'll give you 90% of what you need to know for any meeting we're going to do. And the other suggestion, sit closer to the front, because I don't ever talk soft and you always hear me. And if you got a question, raise your hand, say, Dave, what was that? Because I will answer it. I cannot stand this social media barrage. I mean, I've made more enemies by not saying anything out here. The last thing I will say in closing is, since I've been president, you know how many things I have voted on? Any idea? 0.
Well, yeah, you get the.
I get only if needed. And the only time I have really voted is when 8 people have said yes to make it a unanimous vote. Otherwise, I have had no bearing on any vote, even not the 5 that left. I would have lost that vote that night had they stuck with it. They had me by numbers. It was me, Adam, Deb, and Denny. So they could have forced me out of the presidency if they wanted. And all I have done is tried to get along with all these people that have ever sat at this table. We got a great group of people. Everybody is doing a great job. And I mean, they're just jumping up and doing what they need. And then I got to get an email like this. But if you got a question, reach out to me or John or anybody on this board. But there is an e-board for a reason. And the things I mentioned earlier. So you can speak now.
I just, other thing I want to say. In respect to the sticker last year, that was an important thing. You can't sell something this amount. You say, you're pretty good, that really running out. But aside from that. I think you guys, you know, I mean, I never said a word at any board meeting until the night they were walking up, and that was the night I quit. I was on three committees, I quit all three of them.
But Joe, you don't speak at the meeting, but you speak on social media that just tears us apart.
Totally detrimental.
It's so
Totally
detrimental. If you don't
detrimental.
have anything- my mom, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. But if you have, like Dave, honestly, I agree with you with the stickers. I think $25 is a lot. And I think we all own I mean, there's a lot of things I agree with you in some aspects, but then, you know, we've got to compromise. We have to compromise. It's not just us. We've got how many homes? 800 homes, and I mean, we're talking 3,000 people.
The
We're trying
biggest
to-
problem I have seen with this board is people get too personally emotional inserted into objects on this board. Votes, friends, buddies, office members, maintenance members. It cannot get personal. It's got to be down the line, and either you agree with it or you don't agree with it. And if it ends up being a tie, then I take care of it. But this, like, that's what I don't understand. People piss me off every day at my job, but I don't stop buying hot tubs just because one guy made me mad and he's dogging me to death and he's on social media and giving me bad reviews. To not do those 3 tasks that you were doing, which you were doing a good job of, everybody appreciated that. That's hurting the subdivision. It's not hurting me or John or Tilly or anybody like that. Well, I know, but well, my point to that is just because something doesn't go our way, I wanted a different thing I wanted 2 votes and a husband and a wife per household. And I lost the one time I stood up and said, oh, no, that's bullshit. They hammered me down and couldn't do it. So just because you don't get your way doesn't mean you gotta quit everything, because we appreciate what you do here, but it's just gotta, you know, it's gotta be reasonable. And I'm not saying you can't be on social media. Enough out of my big mouth. And
But, you know.
finish if you got anything else to say.
No, I do have one other. Said before. What's on now? Be gone.
Oh, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just saying hey, freedom of speech, brother. It's just, if you want to do freedom of speech, at least have your facts straight. And I'm done with this investigation. I'm not going to talk about it ever again. And I probably said more than I ever should have, but it is a private matter and the people involved are the only ones that should know about it. And my hat's off to the 3 people that did the second committee, because they did a great job on it. And they were non-biased, and I got from 3 separate worlds of this community. And I thought they did a great job. And honestly, it was a learning experience, and update your documentation and do some training and be done with it. There was no, you know, oh, you know, you're in trouble. You got a red mark on your file. Don't do this, don't do that. We just said, here's what going forward, don't do it. And that was it. And that's what it could have been. But it got all out of hand before I could even get in front of it that night. Anyway,
Okay.
What's next?
And so just,
I
so
got
we
pages all
will,
over the frickin' place now.
when we
On to
get to
unfinished
the
business.
price, we will definitely take
Put it
under
together.
consideration what you put in. So. Hey, you know what, we
Just talk to us first, Joe. That's all I'm asking.
we agreed that we would revisit this. You gave us something, so, you know, we'll revisit it. We just gotta. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in.
I do what I can.
I mean, we're all working for the same goal, Joe.
See all the house.
Yeah, because it doesn't cost us anything. Right.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. All right, go ahead. Yeah. Unfinished business, RFID. Sorry, Glenn, I took so long.
Is he still there?
Is he awake?
Yeah.
Glenn, you're on mute. You're on
Probably
mute.
won't be the president next month, but
Yeah,
Now we
I'm
can hear
here.
you.
Yeah.
I am here. Can you hear me?
yeah.
All right. That was intense.
Well, it's about the fifth email I've got like that. Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay. It's okay. RFID. Been asking a lot of people, had a meeting with John and Dan. I don't really understand why we are jumping to RFID. Or what are we gonna gain? They don't really have any concrete evidence that we need it. And don't spend any money. But there's LPR, license plate recognition, there's cell phone entry. So I just think that we need to take our time and figure it out. There's no magic sauce, is what I'm saying.
I think the reason it got brought up, Glenn, was years ago when we were back to the $2 sticker.
Mhm.
We were getting less than 50% of the people to buy a sticker. So that was what some people were envisioning as, well, I know they belong here because they got a sticker. It transpired or graduated to RFID or a license plate reader or any way that you got to force people to have a device to get through the gates, not just a code or a card, that we actually know that it's something physically attached to a vehicle, so we know they should be in here. That's how that graduated to the RFID, AKA the license plate reader or some other device. So
Yeah,
I agree with you, though. We
and
need
I
baby
do
steps.
appreciate all that, but I'm just trying to figure it all out. There's a lot of negatives to RFID. There are some negatives. There's a lot of negatives to LPR. The license plate readers, what do we do with golf carts? Sell them a little mini license plate? I don't know. I don't. And then,
I think the thing that we're after is when there's any type of vandalism, security incident happens here, the place blows up. And the incidents from last summer, we were not able through our systems to identify with the corresponding data to come to any type of, either we could handle it ourselves through censures and reparation of damages, or to handle it through the police and the courts. So, part of what we're after is there something out there? Can't define what something is other than RFID and puncture your tire strips were what, came forth out of some of this, but it is a matter of, is there something that we can do that if you can open that gate, we have the vehicle registration behind it. So if our improved cameras somewhere down the road, if any of this stuff is able to catch anything, we now have the data ourselves to be able to know who did it, what owner did it, and capture that. But we've got roughly 2,400 billable properties out here. Average.
yeah, you did
families
see
got-
the data on the gates, 50,000 gate openings in December.
Yeah.
50,000.
I will
That's
say
it.
one thing that does work, and it's probably less expensive, is the subdivision I go to in Florida. There is a Nerf bar that goes up in the beginning once you put your code or card, or actually they got, what do you call them, like garage door openers, key fobs. And
Yeah.
the yellow thing goes up, and then there's another swing gate. I don't know, you can't even see me, can you? John don't have his camera on. There's another thing that's a swing gate beyond that, and by the time you get through the yellow gate, the other gates are opening, but it doesn't give the tailgater enough time to get through the first gate. And then once the second gate, once you're past it, it closes regardless if anybody's there or coming or not. So it'd be less likely they crash those gates. It is an added cost because you need another controller out there, and I guess there's about 10 or 15 feet between the two, but it seems to work down there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Denny is there tonight because I
Yeah,
can't
he
see.
is.
All I have is a American flag on my screen.
Uh-oh.
Nice job.
Am I in trouble?
It's better than the
Denny-
other
Denny
view
put
you
a-
have.
Denny put a little, pros and cons against RFID, but long story short is it's all internal.
Right.
Our mailbox and, blowing up the porta potties. These aren't
Sounds
outside
ridiculous.
people. So let's just put more cameras up. It's cheap.
That-
No, I would like to state that we do have $29,000 sitting in security that we could use for cameras.
Let's
Well,
let's
that one
dredge let's
company-
dredge the coves with that money. Are we really worried about security? I mean, what's
Yes, can't use
I
it
just
when
want to
it's-
know what the problem
Yeah.
is. I need a definition of the problem.
I think there are concerns about who's in here. And I cringe when the office has a new person come in that just bought a lot or a house and they give them 2 gate keys and they can buy up to 10, have up to 10, but they don't have to register anything. So we're giving keys out with no, who's got them? As if we could do something, whatever it may be, at least try to have some kind of record of who's supposed to be in here. I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints I've heard is that we really do not know. As long as they have a gate key, we can't even trace them back to an owner sometimes, can we?
No, I get it. I get
well,
it.
if you-
Well, we
And
can
and
send
I'm
whoever
a
purchased
perfect
it.
culprit.
Whoever purchased it,
Well,
yeah.
if you
We
can-
we have multiple gate keys and we have about half of them left, so I don't know where they are. So I get that. It's not a good system.
Yeah,
Well, I think part of what we have today is we probably have 1,500 car registrations. Some of them probably fell off because they didn't renew, but maybe we still have the plate is still valid. We should have 4,000 to 4,800 registered vehicles for Raintree. So.
And John, that's why I say LPR license plate. If you want in the community, you have to register.
Yep.
I love the
and-
technology. I don't
and
know
if-
what to do about the golf carts.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if we work with license plate reader, can we get a different type of sticker that the plate reader can read?
That's where
Right.
I'm at.
Yeah,
I'm looking
you know,
at that.
and-
Even something that when you
But-
register your golf cart, it's a
Yep.
tiny little, license plate.
But I think
that
what
you
we're
put on.
trying to solve is if you can open the gate automatically, not talking
Mhm.
about the guest gate, if you can open the gate, we have your plate data,
I agree.
you have your registration data.
I
The
agree.
second one is, I think having more cameras around where, areas of damage are occurring, will help us, but in today's environment, I gotta be able to clearly get the plate involved in the damage. Then I gotta go back and trace it back to the camera at the gates. If we
Yeah.
can find it, then we can tag the owner who has the card. It's probably gonna be one of your 5 cards that you lost. And you're gonna
Right?
get. money
That my
for
family
I'm
members
kidding.
lost or just in
But
the
I'm
bottom of,
kidding.
underneath
Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
kidding on that, but, and this, somebody said, I think a meeting or two ago, that the kid with the DUI and caused the damage in here, well, somebody, I don't know if it's true, said that he went through the golf course parking lot and came in through the golf cart path on
Correct.
Eden Street.
Now,
That's why we can't
I
find-
had an edict to talk to Dave, after the last meeting, and I did.
Yep.
And he said he's gonna put up a barrier to that little entryway.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's probably gotta be a combination of things, cause if we get a plate reader, the office isn't open 24/7. Does the plate reader company or our controller company have the ability that you can go on the internet or whatever, and you can load the plate? You load the plate to your account and boom, whoever comes in then on you, it opens the gate. You know, I mean, or you go back to the days but it comes down to money, that we put guards at the gates, you know, that provide access and.
Oh,
know this isn't-
that's what I'm digging into. I mean, it's been 3 months of digging and there's so many options. Yeah, do we need the noodle? No, we need a gate.
Personally, I
But
feel
the
like
gate's like way out of our budget, so no gate. Now we just have to know who comes in, and I love LPR, license plate recognition, because you know who didn't get in versus RFID, you know, they just turn around, you don't know.
Right,
I'm a firm believer of anybody that lives here and can prove residency, they can get a license plate, get on or whatever they gotta do. But anybody that doesn't live here has to go through the guest gate, and it's just the brutal nature of how it
Totally agree.
operates.
Now, I don't know about your family members, we have to discuss that, you know,
well.
what do they get? Do we register license plates, or do you
You
think
could.
that there's technology that it's all on your phone?
You remember their
I mean-
birthday present,
You
birthday,
could,
let alone
you could, I mean.
If you get to
when
the
their
gate
license
and if you
expires.
get to the gate and you have to punch in something on your phone, I think it's a loser.
Well, I
mean-
was thinking more the other way, the owner. Like if I had somebody coming to visit me. They can take a picture of their license plate, I go on to some app or my phone, load the license plate. So it's linked to me, it's linked to them. And when they show up, the license plate reader will open the gate for them.
I like that.
It is.
That part's good.
I mean, I'm making that up, I don't know if it exists or not.
No, but
Um,
it could be that easy. It
And, you
could.
know, another.
AI, brother, you
And-
think about it, it'll work.
Another, you know, one too, the potential, I don't know the cost of it, but that 30,000 some odd dollars of the security assessment. It's restricted funds. We have to spend it on security infrastructure. Can't-
No, that's important. So I
we
would
don't
say
have
flock,
the-
we put up
we-
flock cameras. We,
And, you know, so we, you know, one of the things we look at is, you know, people gripe about the backlog at the guest gate.
Mhm.
You know, I might be regretting saying this out of my mouth, but could we put another guest gate controller at the Ridgecrest gate
What not?
to take away some of that backlog? I mean, you may get. I mean, we'll get some backup at the stop sign.
yeah,
potentially from
if
it,
we
but-
have to spend this, John, then my only solution is flock security cameras, which is real-time data to Jeffco and Hillsborough Police. If they're really worried about outside influence and, you know,
Yeah.
that would,
Yeah.
you put up a flock camera and a flock security sign and they turn around.
I think some of it comes down to is, I don't honestly know, in the time I've been with the board. The people that are doing the stuff, are they inside here or outside? And if they really are outside, was somebody inside the one that got them in here? You know, but, you know, I've said this last month, I went to play golf at a private club in neighborhood in Illinois, in Barrington, Illinois. And they took a picture of my license plate and my driver's license to let me in the gate to go
Yeah.
play golf at the golf.
And that's fine, but we're a small city.
Yeah.
It will never work.
So, you know, I mean, well, it was I would imagine it's a little bit bigger of a private community than we are. But I mean, it's still not a town. It's I'm saying it's in the town of Barrington, but
50,000 gate openings in December. That is ginormous.
So Glenn, what is your suggestion? Cause I feel like as the communication, we've holded off getting stickers for autos for January. We've got to come up with some kind of plan or solution to. Are we gonna, if we keep the gate cards, we recommend.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
you
my
have to register.
suggestion is, Tilly, is that we can't rush into a decision. We have to keep the gate cards, keep everything as is. And and deal with it and just look into it. I mean, there's so much
Yep.
technology
looking for-
available, but we can't just jump at it.
Okay, I'd like to make a statement.
Oh, okay, go ahead, James.
Okay, this summer, we're gonna be entering our third year of our 5-year assessment increase. And if we could put this on hold until we get all 5 years done, we might have a better picture of our financial situation at that time. I'm not sure why we're thinking about spending tens of thousands of dollars on stuff and we don't have that money yet. We have it in the future.
Well, we
This
have
all
it that we
stems-
have to spend according to John, right?
This
We
is
have
all
to spend it?
stemmed from that ballot item passing, really is how this got started.
Yeah.
We wanted to have our cost associated with what we were asking for, so we felt like if we got that security assessment, it was gonna be what, about $3,400 a month? And then they were responsible for everything, 13 cameras in different places, but that didn't pass, so then it fell apart. I will say, and you know as well, when John was on the board, I think we've spent over $50,000 in 3 or 4 years of cameras and gates and securities, and maybe more than that.
I think it was more than that.
And it's just, I just get nervous buying. Cause here's a perfect example. I got a camera out at the office. I got nobody to take care of it for, other than me to buy another
No,
one.
that's why I'll send you guys the, the information on Flock.
Yeah, I got it
security.
pulled up. I'm looking at it right now, Glenn. It's probably, we ought to book a demo.
Yeah, let's book a demo, cause it's just real-time feed to the law enforcement, and if we're really worried about outside influence, then that's a great system.
Are we
Well, it depends.
responsible for the hardware?
No, we're not responsible for anything, but it's not cheap. It's about $2,000 a camera per year.
Flock is cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of it could be if, you know, you
Standing.
put the stuff down at the. Put stuff down around the common areas and in the beach area, plus the gates, so. Well, let's keep, let's, well, let's keep, that's with a 5-year contract, it's 25 grand a year.
Right.
So we could pay 1 year, what are we gonna do in year 2?
But then.
Yeah, exactly, John.
Right.
Yeah,
We'd
we're
have
done.
to-
they go dark.
But we need to rethink what our objective is. I mean.
Yeah.
If we find out that most of the things that are going on in here. The troublesome problems are from inside. You know, is it more to, the cameras sound like it would be for immediate identification, these cameras. Of someone, and you don't really know. That they're gonna cause a problem, like if they pulled into a gas station and robbed it, you know? And so, I mean, I almost feel like we're talking about two different things, like.
I totally agree with you, Ken. This is where my battle is.
So we know who's in here and who's not, who's in here, and then we address the other situation a different way. I think,
What's happening in here?
yeah, passage in and out of the gates is what we need to look at. A way to somehow secure who comes in and out of the gates. And the gate cards are great, except for, like you said, they don't get associated with any one particular person. So I think we need to step back and pump the brakes and say,
Well,
okay, what is our objective?
I mean, it's twofold. Dave said we had the ballot item. They wanted to know, what are you gonna spend this money on? One of them was Watchtower, which is better maintenance program cameras. They do some interaction to this, we tell them there's an incident happening, they scrub all the cameras for the data, not us. The other one is who is in here. And I wouldn't even say in here, because you're gonna have people in here that we're not gonna have license plate data on, they're gonna come through the guest gate. But if you have the ability to open that gate, there's no reason we don't have the data
Right.
on it, because if we have the data, now you have a much crisper, clearer tie-in. So it is two things.
Okay.
Why RFID came about was, we talked about it many a times. I'm assuming, Glenn, you found out that it physically won't work, because if Dave's sitting at the gate and shouldn't be here, and I pull up behind him, it's gonna open the
It's
gate.
gonna open it up. Now, it's an edge case, but it happens.
You know, but
Or if I'm leaving.
You know,
somebody else is trying to get in. something-
you know, so it's knowing who has the ability to open our gates, and then that falls
But I think there
into
may be two separate.
the
issues.
other.
But I'm back to
Yeah.
Kent's argument, like, what are we trying to solve? What are we trying to solve? Is there, I mean, are we breaking down the gate every day? No, we're not. We're just
In the
not.
summertime it is.
In the summertime, yep.
I know.
Well,
Well-
I think, the biggest thing is like, people wanna know who's in here.
Well, and some people, it's not I mean, Grant, I agree with everybody that it is internal, but we caught somebody knocking over a porta potty and it was friend of an internal, so,
Mhm.
you know, that's a fine line of, yeah, it's guys.
Yeah.
I've never seen.
I don't
kids that just
think we're
look
gonna
at it.
solve that one. I really don't think that this board and this group can solve it.
Well, I agree with you, but I called their father and he lit them up and they came and
Yeah,
apologized.
I do think, you know, if we can tag it to somebody, we need to enforce the censures. That part works.
Is there what, like, at this point, kind of, you know, I'm looking at, so auto stickers are due, you can get them now, or. both
No,
stickers
we
now.
have to continue with the, you know,
Right.
the way
So
we're doing it.
Can we make, a suggestion that we are trying to secure our community by.
Yeah,
We
you can,
need
you can,
registration of all gate keys. If you don't have one, or you don't know where one is, then let the office know. We can delete those, and say we give them till August, the end of August, and if we haven't got registration, those gate
Right.
keys are off or
Turn 'em
whatever.
off. We did that with the.
no, I'm pretty good with that, except
What are you
I'd
gonna
lose 5
register?
gate keys, but
Well, what
okay.
do we need to know? We need to know license, the plate number and the make and model of the car, correct? Registration?
Well, we're also trying to get everyone,
But
the
then
whole
I hand my
idea,
card
the
off
whole
to
idea is to
somebody
get
else,
in the
so-
gate and then
But-
also have a sticker, right?
They know.
The whole
what-
idea is that we don't sell enough Raintree
They know-
stickers.
You know
Yeah.
which card opens the gate.
One at a time.
Okay.
These trucks-
Yeah. What? So Glenn, what'd you say again?
Well, I said, you know, the whole idea is that we have a reason for everyone to get stickers on their car. If they have no reason to get stickers, they don't get stickers. So if they have a gate card, they just go in and they're all happy and they park in their garage. Let's at least implement, you know, license plate recognition where they have to register to get in.
For their gate card?
Yeah.
All gate cards have to be starting,
Yeah,
whatever.
we
All
kind
gate cards need to be registered at the office.
Well, no, I'm saying turn all gate cards off eventually.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
well, we have to give them some,
When you
No,
say
no,
license-
no, I agree. It could be,
Yeah.
it could be a long time,
This
but
software? Or manually? Glenn, are you saying license plate recognition via the software or just manually doing it?
no, it's software. And
And you said it's 2,000 a camera per year?
no, that's Flock. Flock is different. License plate recognition is about $800 a camera. And it comes with this software. Even, what do we have? Watchdog? What's our,
Watchdog.
yeah, they just came out with LPR. And it's really, really good in terms of isolating problems
So-
and,
Back to Flock though, you said 2,000 a camera per year, right?
yeah, that's Flock. Flock
that-
doesn't open the gates. Flock is
Right.
just security.
Right.
surveillance.
So the other company was about 30,000+ a year. This is about 26 at 13 cameras and they're placed all over the place, at the beach, at the parking lots, at the entrances. Granted, it's not letting them in or out, but I'm just trying to get away from us internally supporting anything, because, you know, if
No, I agree with you, Dave. No
me
reason
or
to do
you or
that,
Dan
but it's too,
Osolinsky takes a
but it's
hike,
too,
well,
it's too expensive long-term.
right. No,
You're cuffed.
no.
So
So-
do we know that if we have a camera position somewhere and we have video evidence of somebody doing something inappropriate, that we can take that to Jefferson County and that will make a strong enough case for them to act upon it.
It can, yes.
Can't.
Not really, but I don't.
No, I mean, who said,
Yeah.
I mean, if we
I don't know
continue-
who said not really, but it is not really.
Yeah, that's
It's
why they
just-
got rid of,
It's just a stronger case than saying, we know that this car came in here and at some time later than that, this happened.
we can identify them. We can even see them do the act of crime, but if they push it to a court, this guy's got to defend himself in front of the judge.
But if you get enough episodes of that happening, the word will get out, hey, quit doing, I mean, already.
Between us, yeah, as a board, and they don't push it, we're fine, but if they take it one step further, you gotta be able to address your accuser in a court of law. That's why they got rid of the red light cameras everywhere. It was a civil rights violation.
All right.
Yeah, I mean.
Unless you know of another way, Glenn.
I mean, the more data,
I don't.
the more data and evidence we have, the better our chances. are.
Internally, right, if it
You know.
stays here.
Right.
Right, but
And-
again, what are we solving? If we're solving a, someone coming into into our neighborhood, and we can get them on a flock camera and it's a stolen car, that's a great solution. If it's some kids in a golf cart, hammering mailboxes, not a good solution.
Yep, that's where we need to be able to track them down internally, and it's like, hey, look, here's the evidence we have, but. Part of it is because so many vehicles aren't registered.
Yeah.
If we could even identify the vehicle, and like, if it's not registered, we don't qualify to be able to buy a
You can
service.
avoid the stickers by just telling everyone has to get their license, their vehicle is registered. And if you have if one of your children is coming or something, you just tell the.
That you have to give the license plate number. Yeah,
Yeah,
I just don't know about golf carts. They're in and out all the time
Yeah.
with their
Well,
cards.
Glenn, it sounds like you and your, and the IT committee and security got some things to continue to look at. But for the here and now, for the board, we have to decide, because
Status quo.
we gotta leave here tonight with the office being able to sell the vehicle stickers.
Totally agree.
So due
Totally agree.
April 1st, so Joe
Yep.
brought up a proposal, now his numbers are a little bit different than mine. The time we did this original analysis, I had 1,501 stickers sold, the old way. And 1,266 sold the new way. Of $22 versus $25. My numbers are 235 different, his are
Just
5.
out of curiosity, where did Joe get his numbers from? Did you give them to him?
Nope, he never asked me,
Wendy?
so. So, but regardless of it, there was between 235 and 500 fewer stickers sold. But for us, we have to
Next
decide, are we going to adjust the price of the sticker? Joe recommended $10 and what he brought up, or do we leave it alone at $25? Pending whatever other solutions we come up with, down the road here. But just so everybody knows, based off my numbers, if we drop the sticker price to $10, based off my numbers, it's a $19,000 reduction in revenues, assuming we sell the same amount next year. So what that means to you is we're gonna have to cut $19,000 out of spending that we spent a year ago.
So let me ask you this, is if it goes down to $10, that's going back to saying everybody needs a sticker, right? Not just people that park at the beaches and the boat ramps.
You could say it, but it's not enforceable.
So what's
in
the
any way.
consequence? of
Right,
that?
right.
Well, the
park
consequence is the
in the old-
subdivision failing.
You can't park on the,
You can't park at the beach.
can't park at the beach.
Right,
Any
because we
common
all have
ground.
visitors without stickers.
There's,
Well, you can't park in the owner side. You
In-
can't
in-
park on the beach side of Vista.
in my
You got a
opinion.
hang tag, you can park on the other side of this.
Your lower numbers is because like, say, you know, Debbie and I. We always got 2 stickers. To go down to the beach. And when it got raised to 25, fine, I'm just gonna get 1 sticker. I
Right.
don't take the other car to the beach.
That's what I did too.
So that's where your
Still
lower
take
numbers is
3.
at. People are still gonna be able to go to the
Driving
beach.
3 cars down there,
But now you don't have 2 and 3 cars going down.
which is probably better in the long run.
Yeah, you know, what do you got, 20 spots to work with? 24
23.
spots, something like that?
Do
Including
not
the
lower, do
31.
not lower the price.
Including the hill, 31 spots. You
So obviously Joe says he's got 499 people that are upset about this. Tilly, you're not happy
But
about it
yeah,
either.
from my point of view as a homeowner, I'm in good standing. I should be able to go down and park at the beach. And because I don't pay $25,
You wanna
I
drop
can't-
your- Do you wanna drop your boat in the lake for?
well, I paid my $100 for my boat and all that, but then.
But it's
I,
still.
I get that, but in the same token, I don't go to the beach on a regular basis, and this past year, I wanted to take my granddaughter, I said, oh, dang, it's a Sunday, I don't have $25, and then I felt rejected as a homeowner that I don't have the same rights as everybody else, and I'm in good standing. So I mean, I look at that, and if you make, and your argument to him, $2 versus 25 makes perfect sense to me, but I just, you know, I think we can kind of tie getting a sticker with your gate card and all that, is that you come in, you register your cars. In order to be able to get in the gate.
That's
and
where
with
we
your-
have to
and
get
then
to.
Here's your sticker. And that allows you to park.
Anywhere.
wherever. That's my opinion on it, and, you know, I
And
just look at, I just felt terrible that, doggone it, I'm up to date on my assessments, but I can't go to the beach and park.
I'm not married to any which way, shape or form of this, but you know. In my role on the board, all of you have to clear cut understand.
Wait, that's money.
If we change this, go back to $2, $10, at $10, I'm coming to all of you. And we're gonna cut meaningful spending $20,000. That $20,000 could pay for her lake treatment and solve that headache for Raintree. You know, out of this, you know, but if we go backwards. And, you know, look, it was already done, so you all know your own finances. If you've got some money coming in. And they cut your salary back, you gotta cut your expenses back, cause you don't have the money coming in, so. You know, we've got, and I'd be willing to bet you that we'll, Steve, if the lake treatment for Spring Lake's probably in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, cause the vast majority of the 46, 47 we paid Matt Redmond last year is autumn lake. It isn't winter and summer lake. So, you know, I'm like, we already spent this money a year ago. We're being asked for 20 some odd $1,000 for a lake treatment. If we do that going forward, and we're talking about maybe rolling back.
Well, we're gonna have
20,000.
5% increase in assessments
Right.
too.
So
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
if we could do license plate.
Yep.
And we have no cost of stickers, no cost of anything. What does that save us? Except we have to, you still want a sticker to go to the beach. I get it. I miss that.
Well, if you sell a sticker for $10 and we get the 1501 that paid for $2 or.
Is a sticker
whatever the number
$2?
is, You're losing about $4,000 to $6,000 of the money we made this year, but we never made that money before, so.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, I
sorry, I
think
just
we
think that
spent-
to
I think we
access
just-
Raintree, you should pay $9.99 a year.
I think
Get
you
your
should pay
license plate
$200 a
registered.
month.
And
What do we spend on
everyone,
stickers?
all the
We
family
don't have
members
the
should pay the
stickers.
same.
Hey, in an ideal world.
I
it's
agree.
high
I mean-
enough that you get all this, you know.
The problem is we're constantly chasing our tail, and until we get a
I agree.
chunk of money. And that 5% we thought was gonna help, and it does, but the cost of living is just skyrocketed and it's killing us.
I mean, somebody brought up the 5% that we're gonna collect in the assessment next year. All right, yep, we got some more money coming in. But we're still trying to chase our tail and catch up from what, a
13
dozen
years.
years, 13 years of no assessment increase. So, that's not, really, and, I'm not trying to, air anything here, so I gotta be cautious with what I say, but I'm like, we got employees. And for those of you that have a business and have employees, there's increases that go on with the employees. And we haven't always been able to do that either. So, we've got a lot of things grabbing at, and that 5% probably isn't even enough money to pay for the lake treatment, so, it's not like it's, once we get past, 5 years, maybe we're it's really giving us more money, as Denny had said.
Yeah, but we still can't fix our roads, John.
Yeah, well.
$20,000.
There ain't nothing in
You
the
make us
assessment.
water, we could.
Yeah, drive your boat to get to your house.
I agree. What was the survey come back? It was security and was it
Yeah,
dredging
roads.
or was it roads?
It was
Road
roads,
security.
security, dredging.
I just don't understand what that means, honestly.
Well,
Security, what does it mean?
I don't know, I was just gonna.
Keeping the
comment that
wrong people out, I guess.
I must not know the same people as Joe Huddle.
I think it's gates.
If he has 400
Yeah, let's talk about
it's
dredging. Can we move on to dredging?
That's not on the agenda this month.
That doesn't make a lot of
Darn.
sense, because I try to talk to as many people as I can whenever I run into them, and people are like, yeah, the assessments here are so low compared to all my friends who live here, there, and everywhere else.
Guys, it's
And-
insanely low.
And
It's-
we keep parceling it out into itemizing into this and this and this and this, and I mean, maybe the time has come that I think Nick or somebody said, why don't we increase our assessments in general? And you get a boat sticker and you get 2 car stickers and you get.
Totally agree, Kent. I mean,
And-
stop
and you-
nickeling and
We
diming people.
quit spending our time doing this, and so
Well,
I couldn't agree with you
Right.
more. The problem is everything we do, we gotta get voted on. And if people don't have a boat or a jet ski or a golf cart, they're gonna say, piss on it, I don't need it. But I agree with you. I was telling John $200 to $300 a month per household. That's the only way you're gonna survive around here.
Well, let's come up with a reasonable argument. Let's come up with some data that says, here's how much we really need to spend on the roads over the next number of years. Here's how much we really need to do. And we break that down and we say, okay, for this community, for you to maintain your investment in this community.
Exactly, investment,
You and Nick
property
did
value.
Well, we attempted to, but, all right, I know you're new into this role. You and your guys need to get me a rock solid bid to dredge all these lakes and fix the runoff problem so they don't fill back up again. And I'm not saying don't write it down as a takeaway, but I can't come up with a all-encompassing number because I don't know. Glenn, what is the all-encompassing, rock-solid magic bullets for security? That gates, controlled access, knowing
But if we
who's
can
in
come
here.
up with some ballpark figures and work it out and say, you guys are, for us to maintain this village, this community, we have to have this much. And it makes sense to say, okay,
All right,
How many
everybody,
codes you got, Danny? How many codes you got?
we've counted 11 runoffs. Oh, you're talking something different. We count, because part of it is, I would say
We've
this
only got 2 codes.
is,
Oh, you got more than that.
No, we
No.
have.
Oh, I guess
1,
you do
2,
only.
3, well, maybe 3.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think it's
You know,
only 2.
but,
One,
but
two.
part of it is if we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to dredge lakes, you gotta fix this runoff problem. And if we can't fix the runoff problem,
we need protection.
you're just gonna
I
continue
think what
chasing.
Kent's saying though is, so you got 9 coves. It's back when I got a bid, a hard solid number, it was $13,000 a cove, assuming he could stay on site and do them all. That was just assuming we could dump this stuff and let it dry and then you dump on it again and then you take it away in a bag. So I would say 15 to 20,000 per cove, so you're talking. 150 for dredging, then you gotta figure out how much for these runoffs. You said how
That's
many, 11?
Game over,
11 on
game over.
Spring Lake. There's 11 on Spring Lake.
Yeah, so I think what Kent's saying is come together and say, all right, we need $400,000 and we fix everything. Or we need five.
No, that's what I've been saying is, I mean, you can't nickel and dime people for stickers. They have to understand that they live in a Shangri-La
Right.
and buck up.
Cost of living in a nice gated community with these amenities is this much,
Yes,
you know, and there will be some people.
but they have to vote on it.
Yep, they have to, and see, I came from a little
But I talked to
subdivision,
so many
16
people-
homes, and we paid $850 a year.
Well, then $500,000 is $208 added to our assessments a year.
But I talked to so many people that say nothing. Our fees are nothing.
Oh, I get it.
But Joe Huddle says there's 499 people.
And my understanding of Joe Huddle's number was doing the math between how many sold one year and how many did the next, and it dropped 490.
I think-
I think that's what he's
I
saying.
think there's people who realize that, gosh, this is a nice place, let's keep it nice.
Well, we just need to get me the info for
Okay.
what is the all-encompassing number.
Does
you
it
know.
sound reasonable to say, here's one fee for your entire?
But where did he get them numbers from? I wanna know who gave him the
Here,
numbers.
you can get
That's exactly.
You can get it. right there.
He did.
Well,
I think that's the numbers.
He don't read anything. He don't have that from last year to this year.
You don't think
so?
No.
he's saying that
You
four
can
hundred
figure it out
ninety-nine
right there.
people acted their feet by not coming to do it, so they're supporting his.
I'm only giving him $498 because I was here to buy the stuff and I didn't have, my kid had my truck. My kid had my truck, so I didn't have the registration, so Wendy wouldn't give me a
Can
damn
we somehow
sticker, so.
Can we,
You are.
can we get on the community and start spreading this word that, hey, how would it sound to you if we had one single assessment a year?
Yes, but let's get the number. Let's, like I just said, is it?
Yeah, let's
200? Is it
let's
500? Is it
pitch,
a million?
pitch the argument.
You know, let me just,
Okay.
if we're going all encompassing,
Let's get the
Just-
roads
yeah.
bid, what it's gonna cost every year. And this isn't just a one timer.
No.
This is added to our assessment.
This is what it costs.
Roads, dredging, security. What else
Yeah,
is it?
and Dave, we have to do, homes versus lots versus, improve lots. Right.
The last election, there was only 40 lot owners who came in, out of 299 votes.
Yeah.
That's out of the 15 or 1,600 lots that are in here, that's less than 1%.
Yes, but when we had the big money on there that one year, we had 400 total vote, 420, 30 something votes when we were doing that assessment. So when the money's talking and.
Yeah, they'll show up.
People show up, but I agree. Let's find out what it's gonna take. And then every year, and I'm a little leery about the house versus the lot, but it's an average of 208, 2,400 properties owned. And that's chump
We
change.
can work through that. Let's start
Agreed,
talking about
agreed.
that in the community. Meanwhile, we'll get you some numbers, John, and.
I'll give you,
think that
I'll
all
give
the
you the
people that
number.
play golf and
We
think
need
it's
$1 million
ridiculous
a
to keep-
year
Yeah.
for the roads alone.
What?
We need $1 million a year for the roads alone. And that's only gonna take us through, if we're lucky, 5 miles of road.
Okay, but your answer to that is, okay, say we get $350,000 for roads, and we know it's not gonna cover everything. So you save it for 3 years and you get it all done then, and then you got 5 more years you gotta wait. We've gotta.
John Willett, did
strategic on how
you
we
say
do
$1
this.
million a year?
Yeah.
That don't even cover
It's
everything,
Just
Glenn.
to, Glenn, just to mill and repave one continuous mile of road last year was 227 with regular asphalt, 243 with, I think, I wanna say
Well, when the
fiber.
price of diesel comes down in November, it'll be
Yeah.
cheap.
I wanna say it was fiber. It's fiber,
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did.
fiber something, but if the base of the road's bad, it goes up significant.
Well,
Uh,
let's look at the big
but-
picture though.
No, I'm
Let's think about getting this idea, this mindset that we're gonna have a single assessment for.
Totally agree, Ken.
And then you
Let's
get
go.
a couple of car stickers and you get a couple of passes. If you wanna buy extra, you can. And if you wanna have more than one boat, you pay for the second one,
Yep.
whatever, but
Well, I'll also come back to this. I'm gonna state, this may not be the year to attempt that, because we already agreed with Bill Hensley's proposal.
Well,
to
that's,
send to
that's a
the attorney.
no-brainer though, if that goes
Well,
through.
that goes
It is
back
a-
onto it.
What
It
is
is
it?
a,
Anybody that sells that house, anybody that buys your house, 1% goes to the POA, and that's a no-brainer.
well,
We got an average of how many homes were sold.
but give me I don't know if you saw what I sent earlier. Bill used in his numbers, because a realtor told him
He
this,
said somebody moves every.
once every 5 years, which would mean 20% of the 800 homes move every year.
Or get built, so
So,
he didn't
right.
take in that.
Well, I had a realtor pull for me the actual rain tree sales data.
Good.
Well, Bill's number was 150 home sales a year.
Yeah.
2023, 26 homes sold, not 150. 22, 52 homes sold, 21, 43
How
homes
many in
sold,
23?
52.
So what's the average of those 3 years?
He
Is it
says
about
40.
40?
So
That's
40,
including
40.
building new ones and,
No,
and
that's
selling
sold.
present.
That's an
So-
extra $160,000 on a 3 or 4
Right.
hundred thousand.
Every one of my
home.
neighbors, except the ones who just built the house, have lived in
Plus-
their home for well over 5 years.
Yeah,
So-
but that's starting to turn over, Kent, a
So
little
some
bit.
of it comes into, we have to be we either need to word it accordingly, that if this passes, it bumps this. But I don't wanna go in with an all-in number
I would-
and throw this one out the door.
I would, you can use them both, but I wouldn't go if then, because that last ballot was so confusing for people. I've had numerous people tell me, I just wasn't even.
Yeah, that was our fault, we
Yeah,
screwed
we
up
learned.
there. But I will tell you, this deal that he's talking about don't cost us anything.
I know, but still talk about making this easier, by having one assessment that covers X. And then if you wanna do something on top of that, you can. But you guys, it's so inexpensive to live here, but look at the place, it's falling apart. You know, you wanna be the board that let the freaking place go?
And then gonna be, the board is gonna be the owners of the properties that will vote for it.
I don't want it to be
We
my
go with
legacy.
inaction, it's gonna be hard.
So,
I don't want it to be my legacy.
well,
that-
part
that's
of,
for the
part of what
community.
I'm concerned with is if we go in with two different assessment approaches,
But the
will-
one doesn't cost anybody anything.
will they gang up and just say no to everything?
No, but it doesn't cost anybody anything unless they're selling their property or buying.
Well, but I
You're
can
looking,
tell
you're
you-
looking for a certain number. Some of it's gonna come from the 1%, other it's gonna come from
Assessment increase.
the assessment increase. But between the two of them, maybe you can come to a good number.
I'm
Well,
just saying,
there-
I personally hate the assessment on selling or buying,
It is.
just,
When you get 150 from a lot owner, 300 from a homeowner, and you got over $500,000 every
that's
year.
fine. Just raise the annual assessment. They know what they're getting into and they don't have to hinder the seller.
Well, we'll get to that point,
Alright,
so
we'll figure
let's get the numbers and go, so,
It makes sense.
all right, somebody needs to,
All
I
right,
don't
let's
even
move-
know, do we need to motion anything, do we need to?
Well,
vote?
that was just
table
about
RFID.
RFID,
No,
so
it's the.
I know, that was
the
just
vehicle
crazy.
sticker.
I think we said status quo, right?
Yeah, that was very lucid. Thank you very much.
Are we gonna do
We
anything
gotta
about
do-
making them register? Are we gonna make that
When I say status quo, are we saying, when I say that, do I mean $25? Oh, no. Tell me what I mean.
That's what you mean.
Status quo means the sticker stays at $25.
You need a second.
Yep.
I'm not.
We haven't made a motion yet.
Do we even need to do anything?
No, we don't.
We said we'd revisit
said
it
we-
if we're not changing it, do we need to change it?
I wanna change it.
We're not compelled to change it.
Okay,
We have a lot of other things that require.
so we're gonna leave it at 25.
I would,
499 people come knocking on my door.
Well, they won't buy stickers.
498.
All right, so nothing with the parking stickers as of
All right, Wendy,
anything right now.
$25 car sticker.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you
won't be
this,
here. I
if
saw
we
schools closed, so-
reduce them to $10 in 3 months, are we violating an inferred contract? Just checking.
It's not written anywhere. It's like, we made a change.
New
You are,
business.
Dave, you're violating.
ACC variance needed for covered deck.
Oh, I have that. Let's read that.
What kind of variance is it?
Okay, this is what I have. I'm gonna sound real professional. An ACC variance is needed by the board for this project. The covered deck is over the setback by 2 feet, 4 inches on the left and 1 foot, 4 inches on the right. ACC has already approved this project with the variance. Please review the plans and a motion will be needed for the board to approve it.
What is it, a foot and a half and something else?
2 feet, 4 inches. on the
4
left.
inches.
Yeah, we've done 6 and 7 feet before.
Where's it at? Section 21. Red Lake, of course.
I've seen emails going back and forth. I didn't think it was a big deal.
Agreed.
Huh?
That's.
I read them.
Mhm.
It's on Lake Ridge. So,
I will make a motion to approve the ACC variance presented to us on covered deck placement. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
All in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. City and Village 2024.
All right, we need to do a resolution, for city and village. They require this to do the billing and collection of the 2024 assessment. So let me, read the resolution. It is resolved that an assessment in the amount of, and we give them an attached list, which is last year's assessment plus 5%. On it be made against each lot in the subdivision of Raintree for the period of July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. That notice pursuant to the subdivision rules and regulations be sent to the property holders, notifying them of the assessment and requiring assessment to become due on July 1st, 2024 and delinquent on August 1st, 2024. Interest and penalties are added after that date. Those are payable to city and village. So I don't know that this matters in it, but there being no further business to come before the meeting or this resolution is duly made, adjourned, subject to call. Blah, blah, blah. So I make the resolution as I read that we have city and village do the 2024 assessment, billing and collection.
Second, any discussion? It's done every year, right?
Every year we do the same. We did it last year. Every year we gotta do the same thing.
Any discussion? No? All in favor of the resolution for City and Village 2024 signify with an eye.
Aye.
All opposed. It passes.
Wendy, we have to notarize this, so I'll bring it up here tomorrow, or I guess you're not until tomorrow, so Wednesday.
Treasurer's report. Oh. You guys all got a copy of that.
All right, the finance report, this is the December financials, the financial package is available in the lobby. You all have it as well. The final adjustment to accounts receivable was made. Our accounts receivable at the end of the year stood at $238,585. And this was noted in our CPA annual review that he wasn't sure what was truly collectible. You know, I will state that that is the true number of what's owed us, not a testament to how much is collectible or not. I want to thank again Lori Haller for her continued efforts with this and our finance team. I'm going to start reporting some numbers a little bit different, and I'm going to call them our cash assets. This is actual money that we have, or liquid money, if you will. Our checking accounts have 146,240 and 368,229 in them. We have $30,471 in a security special assessment. That's restricted use money, though. We have a lake dredging fund of 17,769. That's also restricted use. We have a money market account of $105,709. That's in essence the only money we have that is truly reserves. And we have the ICF fund of $278,468. That's also restricted use. The cash on hand needs to carry Rangery until the next assessment collection period. We know that we've got, payroll, we've got insurance bill will come due, the lake treatments will start coming due on it. That money has to go towards. In December, we collected our city collected $11,106 in assessment related payments.
That was due in July.
Was due in July. The fee was $149 in the collection. Year to date, they've collected $667,000. I got a typo in this. $667,047. Need to fix this before it moves online. In assessment related payments, some of that was prior year assessment dollars. So far, we've paid city $9,398 in their collection fee. Our balance at city in the escrow account is $100,712, and we'll have a transfer initiated of $50,000. We leave $50,000 with them. We are going to get the bill in January for the liens that we filed on 290 delinquent owners. We're owed $229,205 in assessment related activities. That could be interest and attorney fees as well. It's going to go up once the lien money is attached to the accounts. The good news is we're down 109 delinquent accounts from early November. The two things that I think triggered that are the lien warning letters and the limiting good access. Drove in some payments. Again, the liens were finalized, and there's a $115 lien fee added to each delinquent account. Our next step is going to be to seek court judgments against the delinquent owners. That $229,000 will also go a long way to making a difference for this place. I haven't received much other than I know we're waiting on lakes treatment numbers for the budget for 2024. It's now done on a calendar year instead of a split year. So next month I will have a budget for you, which is based on run rates and any known increases that we have. The exception to this is the money that we budgeted in the past for roads will be reduced to $50,000 for emergency repairs since the ballot item to fund the roads failed, and the balance will be held to address lakes and security as those items get finalized in the next few months. I will reiterate to all of you that that $229,000 of outstanding money that's owed us has the potential to come and haunt us. So, we've got to make sure that we keep doing everything we can to collect that and also watch our spending. I also have in that the presentation of bills.
Yeah, I got questions about that.
What do we do with the pay?
So John, is there, when, the next step on these delinquent seeking court judgment, is that something we have to pay for to go to court? Yes.
Are we an attorney? Is there?
Their attorney.
Their attorney?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about,
What I do with the, what mine?
no, mine has notes on it. I had it here earlier today. Gotta be stopped to some.
Probably do with the real.
Really proud of Brad.
I would say I may have, been, but.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, we spent $38,089 in December. Most everything is normal routine, other than we did buy another set of tires for one of the maintenance trucks. We had some fuel purchases, and I think that's it.
Let's check 3383. That far.
I think AT Security and Fire is the same, isn't it?
What do you mean? $60 a month?
I don't think it's a month, it's a one-time charge. Yeah, and then what,
All right, and the tires are 3384.
Yep.
Mileage reimbursement, $324.
Do I have it all of it? Let's see. Bank, post office, courthouse, county buildings.
Why do we have a $35 stop payment charge? Check 121523. Or number.
Check that out.
Two questions I have. One, why? And two, the amount of money we got in that bank, we should be getting that free. We should. I do. Huh?
I don't remember who was stopped, I can find out.
Well, that's a check we sent to somebody, right?
Yep, if we stop payment on it. All right, I'll find out for you.
I'm guessing you guys look through the credit cards, receipts.
Get one paid and those are all distributed back into the accounts on the monthly fee.
All right.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the presentation of bills and the monthly finance report.
Second. Any discussion? Stuff I brought up? All in favor of the approval of the treasurer's report and presentation of bills signify with an aye. All opposed. Passed. Communications and correspondence.
Okay, basically, we had some emails from property owners requesting agenda items. For the first time, we had property owners address the board, which was good. Some city and village inquiry. Basically, the lakes and beaches survey, somebody had a question about that. Some notices that were sent, one of the biggest, the highlights are, your average monthly with the board meetings and the roundup, but we did do some things with the office this year. In December, we had some holiday time off, giving the girls a chance to be with family and stuff and not be open between Christmas and New Year's, and then, as you all know, we've got winter hours. Starting today, but Wendy was here from 3:30 to 6:30, and I'm sure the weather had a lot to do with it. She didn't have anybody come in, but. So on Monday nights, we will have somebody here from 3:30 to 6:30, and then, we are, not open on Saturdays for the month of January and February. Trying to, cut some costs, and we had some data that we used to, make those recommendations, and I hope that, we'll find out that that was a good move on our part. It was a little bit of money. That's about it.
All right, let's go. Anybody got an update on Rever?
I do, we ran the test on the, payables, and everything worked within Rever, but it did not launch the, notifications to get the approvals of the payments. So Karen was talking with Rever to get them troubleshoot it to see what the problem is. Next step after we put that in place, as soon as Rever figures out why it's not sending the notifications in a day, we'll be ready to go forward with that. The other thing that we're gonna look to tackle next is the form needed for the stickers, so that people can do that, be able to do that form online, and it'll be able to be stored online.
All right, great. So 1,171 emails, is that right, or 1,130?
Oh, 130
1,130.
subscribers. There's a difference, John was explaining to me why I had 1171 total contacts. There may be contacts in my MailChimp that are not good emails, so it's gone up one. We had 5 new contacts added since December, according to that, report. So,
It's a big improvement from a year.
yeah,
All right, where we at? Administration. That John, is that Tilly?
so, issued the holiday codes, the sticker sales started in January, with the exception of the auto stickers. They've been preparing the personal and vendor taxes and updating the records to reflect city and village. They've been assisting the security team with the research for the gate violators. And as we said, we changed our hours to have winter hours, and we're hoping that this would be something that we do on a yearly basis. So hopefully we talked about from November, because we had data from November to February having winter hours, because we really don't have anybody here on Saturdays. We were paying someone for 3 or 4 people, and so that may be something that comes down the pipe that we approve, and that's something we do from now on.
All right. I have nothing on legal. Architectural control, that got canceled, so did we even have anything?
Just that variance.
Huh?
The variance?
The, not that, the email that sent out for projects that you saw.
The ones that are listed on here? Where did I see them at?
Oh, you're included in the email. We didn't see the email like we did during COVID.
Oh,
Let me double check email, I just seen 3. They gotta be approved by us?
No,
Oh,
no, it's
you're
just the
just,
report.
no, this is the very page tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The email.
oh.
Staka, Hewitt, and Campbell are the 3. Oh, brother, not that guy.
Oh, brother is right. I have a question on BCC one.
Go ahead.
I don't know if we can bring this up or not, but, there was that thing where the driveway that went in over on Forest Drive. And I think ACC was looking into that. And I haven't heard anything since then, so I don't know if anything was ever done about that or not, or if somebody looked into it.
You know what he's referring to, Denny?
No.
So there's a home on B that backs up to a lot in the forest, and they bought both properties. And there was some clearing done on the lot connecting to Raintree. And I don't know, was it gravelled? I hadn't heard. Did it get gravelled?
I think it's just- I think it's clean, right?
So ACC, I think, or ACC and rules are gonna reach out to that for security individual.
Oh, did Glenn, I think Forrest, did somebody?
I
No,
think Desiree did some too,
yeah,
but nothing has been violated at this point.
Right,
They haven't put a road into our property,
It's
or
just-
they have?
Just
it's a clearing of a road, what looks like would be a road, but it's nothing,
Could be.
right, they don't,
It's an access.
they don't gravel it or concrete or asphalt that they haven't really
It's not developed
violated
in
anything.
any way, but it's an access.
But if it's been cleared from whatever road that's gonna be off B into Raintree.
Yeah.
Then we got an issue.
yeah, cause they can go in from B and
Yeah.
get right in, no gate.
Just like they go through the golf course.
Well, eventually, I believe there's gonna be a house on B.
Right.
Well, we just need to make sure we get proactive with the guy and say, hey,
Right.
we have these concerns.
We did.
Okay,
Yeah, but what's the argument? I mean, is it ACC? Is it easement? Is it
I think
easement?
it's
Is
just
it?
access at this point, I don't think
It's,
that,
it's the thought of,
An improvement.
it's an unsecured access into the community.
Agreed,
I'm
but
wrong, I think
if I go to Keith, I know Keith a little bit, and I go to him and I say, this is what you have to not do. What is that rule?
Well, he cannot put a driveway on that Raintree lot that abuts to his property. That's against the covenants. Somebody told me that, I don't know whether it was Wendy, I don't know, it was you, maybe Tammy, somebody said he knows that.
he does.
The other part is I do believe he's got a chain across the dividing line of the
does.
property.
They've got a
yeah.
chain right at Forest Boulevard.
Oh.
well, he's got one on B too.
And it, is, I think the biggest thing that we're concerned about is that there's access. Since he cleared the Raintree.
Oh, no,
lot,
and I
access from-
understand that, but what's the ACC rule that we say that, Keith, you can't do this because of X?
I don't know that it's an ACC rule as much as it's an
Rule,
unmonitored,
Security.
open access, it's a security issue. Than a potential access to Raintree property.
No, I think we all agree with that, but what is it that you go to Keith with?
I guess Glenn's wanting to know, is there an actual written rule that says that that's a violation?
well, there is one that says he can't improve that lot without a home on it, but my point in an email earlier, Glenn, was. Let's just talk to Keith and just find out what he's planning on doing, I mean.
No, we tried that and he just said,
That didn't
yeah.
work,
no, it didn't work.
huh? He's-
Well, that's right.
Well, that was a property of ours that we sold to him, or he got. So what would that property would have been if anybody would have
You
sold?
sold it to him?
Well, I didn't sell it to him. But, I mean,
Limited access to Raintree community. And it's limited by 3 gates currently. It's
Mhm.
and a golf cart.
Mhm.
Target. And we need to tell him that you don't have the ability to open up another access to this community.
Yeah, we can
No one
talk all
has
the
that.
time, but we have to show him something. We have to show him that this is not,
I don't know if anybody's ever looked into that and saw
Didn't they
that,
think
whether
at
it
one
be
time
the
it was
covenants
gonna
or
be
the
a
rules or whatever,
Right, there has to be
Something.
something.
you would think.
There has to be something.
And not, somebody else brought up the fact that, well, and I don't know whether or not it's true or not. But somebody said that we have the ability, if we can't come to terms on this, that, we could put a fence up. There's an easement all around Raintree.
and there is.
So you
Easement on
can-
B,
you
easement on Raintree on Forest Drive.
What's that?
There's easements on B and Forest Drive, right? Of course.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, and there's all the boundary of a Raintree is an easement. So basically, if you wanted to fence that section, because you're gonna run into it again.
I mean, why did he?
Every lot that's on Forest Boulevard that backs up to that new community has the ability of accessing, doing the same thing he's doing now.
Well, today, he's got the exact same thing set up that that the POA and Tom's guys have set up, because Forest Drive connects to B. And there's just
a
that,
big fence there.
there's a chain
There's a
across the
chain.
road.
Change.
So he's got a chain across his property to prevent somebody from going through there. You know, I think the only ask of him is, once he puts a house on the B property, what's his plan here? You know, is his plan to have dual access, you know, in and out? You know, what's his plan for a driveway, you know, I mean, cause our concern would be, you know, you get some nut who's gonna drive in his driveway on B and drive all the way across his yard and,
I would think that's his concern
Yeah.
as well, though.
yep, so.
No,
it's more-
don't you think he's a construction guy? He just wants easy access.
He wants to
And
bring his construction equipment in that way.
exactly,
Well,
just
part- yeah, I mean,
without the
well-
hassle factor,
Well,
right?
that'd be the other piece though, him dragging construction equipment through that lot. Without having, you know, without him putting down the bonds, I'm like, you know.
From B, but he can bring them in and out of B.
He can bring him in and out of B, he can't just bring him across that lot into Raintree. or from
That's what he's
Raintree
planning, John.
Into his lot.
Right.
Well, he probably already did it to some extent and clearing it out, but, you know, he start driving in, you know, who knows what. Construction equipment in here to build his property up in there.
He did?
Somehow he got all the way to Forest Drive with something that cleared out.
Well, he probably brought a high lift in off of B and just went straight down the hill.
No, that's what he's doing. And he does great work. He builds boathouses. He does a great job. But I just think he had a master plan. And he's gonna take you know, B to the source. Which is not good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to him if the first time didn't work, I'll ask him, hey, just, you know, what are you planning on doing? If you're gonna do anything, just put a gate or fence or chainer across that at the back of your property. Or, yeah, at the back of his property would be best.
Yeah. And I just don't know I would love to talk to him too. Just tell him what rule he's breaking. That's all I'm asking.
It's not gonna break a rule other than security, we have security issues, security concerns.
Yeah, we do. We all have security issues, but you know, he's
Yeah,
gonna
there's
still
nothing-
build his
there's
little
nothing
driveway
back
through
up.
from B to
Yeah.
us.
We'll have to build another gate.
I know, the Keith
Wendy,
gate.
do we have a security policy written up somewhere? No,
It's rules. Does it be added to rules?
could be.
We may have just learned something.
So like
Well,
Steve said, you got
He
that
can't
problem.
improve it, so he can't put any hard surface down. People sneaking through in a car, unless it's hard as a rock through there. And I mean, he's gonna have the same issue. You don't want people driving through his driveway, I don't think.
The
It's
word gets
probably
out to the
easy
neighbors-
access for him to get to the Raintree if it.
Word gets out to the local kids, they're gonna say, well, screw the gate, I'm gonna go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yard."
I'll go down next to his property line all the way down to the woods, then cut across and go through his. that lot
You
right
go
there.
through there right now, you might sink up to your eyes in the mud. Well, it's frozen now, but you know, once it thaws.
All right, so we'll address that as either, you know, if I run into him, I'll ask him about it, see what he says.
It was perfectly planned by him. That's what you know.
He has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, I mean, you don't buy those two lots without a plan.
I don't think he can join them though.
I don't think you can legally join them, no.
All right, lakes and beaches, or lakes, amenities and events. Yeah. Is that three reports?
Yeah, that's good. So I received a bid from, from Matt Redmond for the treatment of autumn, summer. And winter lakes from April through September of this year. The total cost would be $51,804, which is about. An increase of about $5,000 or 10%. I have contacted several people that have committee members that have identified And we have a meeting scheduled for January 29th at 6 o'clock in this office, I guess.
Who's that with? With Matt or?
No, the committee, we're
Oh.
Lakes and beaches.
have a committee meeting,
So you want me to put something out about that? Okay.
and that's open, I encourage. We put out a survey, so some of us, tossed around a survey between the committee members and, we really made a survey to kind of validate or update, like we heard here that nobody fishes on Spring Lake, and I know that's not true, people fish on Spring Lake, and so.
I'm one.
Yeah, so, but you hear this, that, well, nobody fishes there, they all fish on the big lake, et cetera, so. The survey you put out a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, it said dredging was the third but we put out a survey that was specific to lakes and beaches. More not to pick priorities or plot one thing against another, but more just to validate that these are the issues. In fact, when we start talking to vendors, I've already reached out to the first vendor, that was the Missouri Department of Conservation, had probably an hour-long meeting with him regarding our lakes and lake health, and I will tell you, the first thing he said to me is, this is not uncommon with POAs and HOAs, in fact, the Department of Conservation is putting together a series of pamphlets or videos just for this specific issue, because oftentimes, you know, they start out as small communities, they grow, and the changes and design, the needs and desires change. And so he agreed, he came up with a date. I guess the month of January is all hands on deck for everybody that works for the Department of Conservation because of CWD and deer, et cetera. And he said, I'm not available till February. February 13th at 9 o'clock, he's gonna give us a virtual discussion and just talk about lake health. I will tell you that I've asked Matt Redmond for the name of what chemicals he uses, and I haven't gotten those back from him, but I think it's copper sulfate or some analog of that in the Missouri Department of Conservation. They have written materials that say, you know, the long-term use of chemicals is very detrimental to your lakes. And while that was great to get rid of some weeds, I don't know that that's the long-term health of the lake. It cuts down all the oxygenation, and then your fish population, the desirable plants don't survive, et cetera. So I learned a lot from him. This guy spent an hour with me on the telephone.
Can you send that invite out? I wouldn't mind joining that.
So the February 13th, is that it's a virtual, you said,
It's a virtual thing, so I'm hoping that
at your house?
I'm
You're
hoping
just
the
gonna do
committee
it?
can meet
Oh.
here, probably, and other people can too, but. I'm gonna tell him, you know, we just wanted, I asked for just an overview about lake health. He's not a vendor, he has nothing to sell. This is what they do, is tell people how to keep their lakes healthy. I don't, and he kept bringing up phosphorus, which if you read that stuff from Clean Flow, they talk about phosphorus. He's very interested in getting that information, and so, we're reaching out to Clean Flow to see if we can share that information, which we should. It's public. You can get it on Indian Hills Lake information. So we're really looking at. He said, you know, you need to look at biological causes, answers to your problem, like the grass carp and things like that, rather than dumping chemicals in your lake. And so there's a lot. I can't tell you if you want a budget number. I guess I can give you that number, but that doesn't include Spring Lake. He did talk about how the Department of Conservation did help us, provide us with plants and help us get Spring Lake planted for the desirable vegetation. It's the undesirables. Another thing he said about was chemicals was your algae will eventually become resistant to it, and then you're in a really bad place. I hope that's not what's happened already. And then everybody, I think you've already said the Clean Flow presentation is scheduled for February 22nd here at 7 p.m. I'm unfortunately out of town, but we need to get a big screen. I don't know if we have a screen.
Is that a big screen right there?
And some kind of a projector. He has a list of things that he needs for that presentation.
We'll
So
have to ask Wendy.
We got projectors.
We have one in that room, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
projector.
find it one night.
I have a question about that.
so anyway, I don't have a lot to say other than we've been reaching out to different people, trying to get information about how to make our lakes healthy. I'm stop using the word treating lakes. Want to make our lakes healthy. And interestingly, he said, you know, a healthy lake has a healthy fish population, whether it's used for fishing or not, and a guy was very interesting, and so he's gonna come, or he'll talk to us virtually for an hour, and we'll learn more. So I can't tell you about chemical, but
Yep.
budget number, I would use that number, if you need a, if you have to have a number.
You got a question?
I do have a question. So we've done this year after year after year after year. And can we not document like what chemicals were in the lake? Year after year after year, and did we see up, down? Progress?
I said, I'm sorry, go on, Glenn.
Oh, I mean, we've been, I don't know if it was Lee Redmond's boy that was, just putting copper sulfate in the lake in the little John boat. But that seemed to work for swimming. I just want to know what we've had over the last 10 years. Let's just pick 10 years and just see what we had, who was the vendor, and the results.
So for the last 10 years, it's been Aqua Service or Lee or his son, other than 1 year we had Solitude out of Florida.
Mhm.
So you're not gonna get anything out of Solitude because of the way we ended the contract with them. Unless we have reports previously, which I think Tim sent me a bunch of paperwork, or sent all of us. I can dig around and look for it. That
Or
his reports from Solitude that might give us
I
something.
went through a bunch of stuff in the file in there about Solitude and this, John Schulte from the Department of Conservation wants, he wants lake plans, he wants drawings, he wants any treatments that have been done in the past, any revisions to the lake. He'd like this. He said they would probably come out and do a fish count, but that's not an accurate representation. What he wants is the regular anglers to make a record of fishing. He sent me a form and everything. I really think for the long-term health of the lake, we need to at least listen to what he has to say and go from there rather than just sterilizing the lakes. I don't think that's, it may look good in the short term, but I don't think that's the long-term solution. From what I mean, I don't think that's very long, but that's what I've learned so far. And that's just, but I figured the Department of Conservation, they should know. I mean, that's what they do, is take care of lakes and ponds. And I told them it's not exclusively for fishing. We're talking about for people to swim, boat, et cetera. A healthy lake is a healthy lake. Here. So that I didn't want to interrupt the conversation earlier, but when you talk about treating algae and what's whatnot, and I think we can hold off on just saying, okay, let's just keep doing what we've always been doing, especially if there's a long-term detriment to do it.
So it's okay for me to like save the dates and put all three of these on a MailChimp blast so that lakes and beaches, it's for homeowners as well as committee members, right?
I don't think we can really have,
Can't have a meeting without letting the property owner know about it.
We should
right?
have the conservation agent and the biologist talk to us without inviting the community, but it's more of a virtual presentation than it is, hey,
If it's virtual, we don't have a good avenue for you to hold that meeting with if you open it to the public. Cause we
can
don't
we
have,
have it without opening it to the entire community?
if you're meeting with what I consider a vendor, or to.
Maybe
then
your
you don't-
committee members.
You don't have to have everybody there. We would, Denny would meet with the roads company. He didn't have everybody there. It wasn't an open meeting.
But did you have the entire committee there or invite the entire committee?
No. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would rather, not that I have anything to keep from the community, it just,
An
too many
informative, right?
people creates chaos. Everybody says, well, wait a minute, I want my
Cause
I
it-
would ask a
yeah,
question.
cause if you're not well versed at Zoom and running a Zoom meeting. If you get a bunch of people on a Zoom call and they can't mute themselves and you don't know how to do it. You're gonna cancel your meeting because
I mean,
we don't have a conference room speakerphone to run the call through, so, you know, you'll be doing it through
well
your
then, why-
cell phone and.
let's just advertise the 29th is our first committee meeting.
The 29th. Okay. First committee meeting.
Can I
And
also
22nd.
suggest that we
And the
just
22nd.
include, you know, Spring Lake as part of the discussion? Cause they're,
For
Yeah.
when?
But when you meet with the DNR.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be,
Right.
it's not about any one lake, it's just about lakes in general and lake health.
right, just make sure,
But does this guy?
Yeah.
I've already told them that there are one lake that's, you know, boating and no speed restrictions, one lake that's, no wake and et cetera.
Spring fed, water's going.
Spring-fed.
One
Yeah.
lake's about to be turned into a mud puddle in the next.
yeah, they don't, they just, yeah,
Every lake is
it's,
born with
it's
a
good.
best
It
effort.
shouldn't be a mud puddle.
Every.
Yep.
So the 29th and February 22nd is out to everybody. Okay.
Has your committee talked about stocking the lakes this year?
Well, we haven't had a committee meeting yet. We
Oh,
just formed the
sorry.
committee, but we will be talking about that on the 20th.
Okay.
But again, after talking with this gentleman, he said, don't just keep doing what you've been doing because that's not an accurate way of stocking. And really, they may or may not be able to come out and shock the water. But they said a more accurate way for them to determine how to stock the lakes is to have a fish. He sent me a form that Ed would ask that all fishermen fill out every time they fish. And over a period of time.
Yeah, they shocked Spring Lake about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
See all the fish floating up on top of it. Didn't
Well, he
hurt.
said it only shocked, it's the important thing about what he told me was, you shock like it's important when you do it, because it only gets down about 5 or 6 feet. And so if the fish if it's a time of year where the fish are deep or the water's cold and or the oxygen level, they're gonna be deep, and so it's not a very accurate reflection of what your fish population is. He's really God, just
And it wasn't, yeah, I don't think they stocked anything in them last year.
I don't think so.
The fishing was pretty poor too.
Yeah.
I got confused a little bit about what's virtual and what's gonna be, announced that anyone can attend.
So our meeting will be on the 29th. Our committee meeting, and those are open to the
Mhm.
public, I understand, at 6 o'clock here. And then clean flow is again, a presentation in person here on the 22nd.
And
Of
then
February.
then you said something about a virtual meeting of someone doing.
That's gonna be for the committee and vendor.
Not on the 29th, a different thing.
Yeah.
My only thought was if you do have sometime a presentation that you think the community would like to hear, just record it like we do this and then, tell people you had this,
Yeah.
and here's what we learned,
Right.
that's all.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't wanna keep it in fact, the more informed we get people, I want people to understand why what we're doing and why.
Glenn Kent's gonna get technology educated here in the next 2 weeks.
I don't know about that.
We got this Mac problem
gonna
we're
try
working
to-
with, right?
What?
We got this Mac problem we're working
Yeah.
with.
I've already learned a lot, thank you.
Well,
Everything.
I would say just get the max out of there.
All right, the events, the oversight committee, is put in place now to help coordinate and communicate the events, and we'll make sure that the vendors are all properly registered for the events. One of the things I would state here is that Wendy, we need to make sure as we start renting pavilion campground, we understand the purpose of their event. And one of the things that we're gonna put out and share in the roundup is if you're advertising something for the community on social media, that's a key that you need to go through the events group to get the thing properly coordinated.
So are there consequences to not doing that? If someone says, I'm gonna hold something at the beach and they choose not to have a form completed, what happens? We have to decide that, I think.
Believe what next step is, we call the sheriff and tell them to come in and shut it down. Unauthorized use of property.
Even if it's organized by Rain Tree homeowners.
Hopefully that won't happen. I mean, this should be a very simple, straightforward process. And it just makes sure everybody is covered accordingly.
And put something in the roundup. Start reminding people if you have activities or whatever, please coordinate with the event coordinator. Anytime you use Rain Tree PLA property.
Well, not use it. It's for if they're having a
Event.
community-wide
I would say,
event that they're gonna advertise, you need to have the form filled out.
I would say must. You must. Or
But, yeah, I mean,
required or something.
Yeah, but somebody can rent the campsite. Camp, they don't need the event form. You can rent the pavilion for, grandkids
A birthday
party, a birthday party, you don't need. If it's something that's advertised to the community. Then we need to go through the process.
So how are you handling the polar plunge?
So that
Noticed that was
that's my
near,
question,
not near as big as last year.
Yeah,
but.
I mean,
Cool, but
it should have,
isn't that something that
it should, since it went on social media, it should have a form completed. There wasn't the form completed. So we're trying to,
Well, it's irrelevant,
I mean, last thing you
social
wanna do is-
media, it's relevant of them using as
well,
an event.
but you know
common
what?
ground.
I could have sent an email to everybody in here and 20 more of my friends in Rain Tree and said, let's meet there January 5th at, or whatever Sunday was, and, at 2:00 and let's jump in the lake. You know what? You can't stop neighbors and friends from getting together if they're doing it, among themselves. But if they're gonna broadcast it as a community activity, that's when we need to make sure that it's done in accordance. It's not gonna get us in trouble.
I think
With
we have
their insurance
liability with
or
that.
legal.
I'm not a fun hater, but I think that puts us in a very liable situation. You're having people jump into a lake in frigid temperatures. And I mean, that's a potential disaster. And when I've been to those events before, like the one in Creekville Park where I used to, they always had ambulance there, they had police there, everything. I don't think we had anything like that. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know, I
first
didn't
year
go.
they did, which was bigger. This year, I don't think there was. To me, it seemed like this year was far more low keyed, far more,
It all takes. So,
right, but Ken, one person could go there and do it on their own.
Okay.
And we have the same liability for it.
Okay.
Well,
from
to that point, maybe we just suggest that or bring it up in a couple meetings that if you're gonna do a polar plunge anytime, that you should do an event form
Well-
and do the necessary life-saving
Yep.
mechanisms.
There,
Use it as a checklist to make sure that you have covered your participants well. And not legally, but just make sure that I don't think I'd jump into water, cold water like that, without an ambulance around.
and I'll be turning
So, yeah, hot tub,
I'll be
that would
turning
be
the events on
50.
our site over
Actually,
to.
it's a chill spot.
You got that right.
What's that?
You're getting the events oversight turned over to you.
No, I climb up.
You're the chair now.
Thanks, John. Maintenance.
Sure, Apple not working again?
Maintenance is in full winter mode, so, we're dealing with the snow and the salt and getting the roads cleared, and I think thus far, I think they've done a good job of it. I think we got enough salt in the ground now to last us for a while. But other than that, that's maintenance, and just dealing with winter issues.
Steve, have you, ever talked about the maintenance shed?
You mean the possible moving thereof?
Yeah.
No. I would like to know who to talk to about that, because Tom's brought it up.
Last I heard,
And I
the
went,
county dropped it.
Well, you know what, if you want me to, I can make a phone call and find out.
There you go.
That would be great. That'd be great. There's
They probably didn't get the loan, that's if they dropped the whole thing.
well, somebody told me, I was talking to Nick about it, cause he was getting involved in it, and he said something about that, it kind of fell apart. They were talking about 3 or 4 different locations and never went anywhere with it.
Well, we narrowed it down to one location.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Where at?
Where I left the board. It's on the same roads where it is now, it's only closer to the,
Well, you got volleyball going on down there now, brother.
it's not that far. It's not that far.
It's,
It's right behind the dam.
No, we're gonna have miniature golf down there this summer.
they have a dog park.
All right, well, if you wanna check on that, Benny, that would be great. Road report,
Nothing to report this month, other, I mean,
we're still there, right?
they're still there. I put this out because of these, just a reiteration for everybody is Nikki's working on getting the website updated, so you have to have a written report, even if it says nothing to report this month. We can put up on the website for the committee, just where we're at with roads. I just, everybody knows the ballot item to fund road repair and infrastructure didn't pass last September. To mill and repave one continuous mile of road is roughly $235,000. Base repair is additional. The past roads budget is not even enough based on last year's number to repair 1 mile of road. And there's approximately 40 miles of roads in here. We will put in some way, shape, or form ballot items for additional funding in September 24's election. So spread the word to, if they want the roads, anything to happen with the roads, vote yes for whatever comes forth. So that'll go out every month.
Who's the co-chair of rules?
Glenn,
There, of course.
I think Glenn is.
Well, I don't think there's been any meetings lately.
Glenn, you might be on mute.
No,
I'm gonna go from the-
let's see.
Glenn, I think you're on mute.
Thanks, John. I was on mute. I just gave my full report on rules.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, security. We beat that up with RFID and LPR and all that stuff, so we're good.
All right.
I do have one question, security. Security, so when the temperatures got down and we raised the gates, should there be a standard operating procedure? Like who do we contact? Who do we follow? I
Yeah, I
follow
agree
Tom,
with
I
that.
follow maintenance, I follow the maintenance department.
We need to come up with an SOP and put it in either in the website or the covenants or something, so if anybody's got a question about it, they can just go there and say, oh, that's why the gates are open, but.
Right,
Reaching out to all of us all the time is probably not the smartest thing to do.
I guess we need to have somebody that's gonna call the ball on that and say, okay, we're going by a criteria. That says.
yeah, and
it's gonna be icy, so we need to open them up.
right, and I would give that to Tom.
Yeah,
Tom will make the call.
yeah,
needs to have
Tom
somebody-
makes the call, of course, Tom, this last time Tom made the call.
Yeah.
Tom got a hold of Glenn, I think.
Yeah.
and let him know what was going on. I think after that, we kind of got into a little bit of an issue, because then when it didn't turn out to be as bad as it was, and we wanted to get the bait gates back down and working.
Right.
As
then
long as
we-
it don't snow in July, I think we're okay.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, and
I think
I
we-
would say,
we had a little-
you know, in that case, that I would, you know, bend it over to technology committee. And if we had access to the software from a VPN or whatever, we could just do it.
well, that's in the works. I don't think it happened as on the timeline we're supposed to, but.
I mean,
uh,
to have a physical person go into the office is kind of silly.
Crazy.
No,
Yeah.
I'll run that with Irvin to make sure that he finishes the access to the system that they need for that remotely as
Yeah.
well.
Tom can do the exit gates. Tom can't do the entrance gates. That has to be done by.
Right.
People up
That's,
here, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for access into it. Yeah, I would just say this, whatever the process is, I think Tom, got a great handle on it, but. I think whatever we're doing, it needs to be consistent and there needs to be monitoring done, because the week before last Friday, it was horrendous out. But it happened late in the evening. Nothing came up, nothing was said, I came in here, I think at midnight Saturday morning, the gate was still down. And, you couldn't put your brake on the car that night without sliding,
yeah,
so.
yeah,
So if we're gonna do this, it needs to be an ongoing monitoring and consistent, because, I don't know. I mean, the gates may have been open, they may still be open right now if, we'd have that conversation Saturday. I don't know what the plan was in the procedure to check for
Right.
the weather and,
right. But I also don't think there needs to be, 17 cooks in the kitchen.
Yep. yep.
If
So-
I'm responsible for the gates, and I'll take care of the gates.
Well, as long as we understand that, like, say, if you have a forecast for Friday, that you're gonna get some snow, so, it's gonna be bad weather, and then it goes up, and then the next day, it's fine, but the next day it's supposed to be bad again. You can't keep on opening and
Yep.
closing the gates all the time.
True.
I
We're gonna
agree.
have to say, for this period of time where there's gonna be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, the gates are gonna be open. My big problem was, in thinking about it, it was like on a Saturday. Of course,
Nobody's working.
nobody's working on Saturdays. We don't have any coverage and maintenance on Saturdays. We have on Sundays. But even for that just would have been with the exit gates. We still would have had to get somebody up here on the weekend to get in the office and turn it off or turn it back on the computer.
Totally agree.
That's where the problem was.
Wendy can do that for you.
This is another perfect reason for outsourcing part of it.
It's the dual system. Right?
But, well, I'll
Dave?
check with Urban to see if he can provide VPN access to that. I still think that, at least why we don't need 17 emails back and forth. We at least need to know, because, communications will get an incident report. So
It
start
already
getting
did, it
filed-
did. There was an incident report on
Filed that the
that.
gates are open.
And there was only one, which was good,
Yeah, right.
but I think we need signage.
Was that the one that was frozen? Or was
I
it
don't know,
open?
somebody opened up an incident.
No,
said
we opened up the
broken.
gates
Oh.
per Tom's request,
We just had-
opened up the gates, and then we immediately got an
Gates are
incident
broken.
report.
Incident report.
But I think that I think that we need to have
No, this one was,
communication,
I think.
meaning
Well,
So-
I don't know.
so
even a
Glenn,
signs.
A sign or something that goes out in MailChimp or something, I could do that.
No, I'm saying a physical, when they go up to the
Physical
gate,
sign
like
on
this
each
is on
gate that says
purpose.
Gates are open for. when-
Oh, okay.
So maybe like the no wake, maybe like the
Yeah.
no wake sign. we put
Sure.
up
Yeah.
there. Well, I don't think we want a social media blast.
No.
or
No,
anything,
no, we don't.
But,
We just,
we
tell the
could
residents that this
certainly-
is on purpose.
If he's got something that they put up that's similar to the no wake. the no wake sign that goes up at the gates, you
Don't
know.
you think common sense prevails? Oh.
But I'm
Yeah,
just- I'm just
sorry
saying
about that.
the neighborhood, what if other people, non-Braintree people? Hey. Braintree are open.
I'd rather, yeah, I think I'd rather deal with an incident report versus
I do
blasting
too.
it
I'd
out.
rather- I
Yeah.
don't think putting a
No,
sign
don't
up-
blast it out. Just put a
I still don't- I
physical
don't think
no
even
wake
putting a
zone.
Sign up at the gate is a good idea, just my.
So if you put, like he said, Friday night it's bad, Saturday it's better, and that's it, but we're gonna keep it open till Sunday because.
But just put something on the.
That would be, yeah, somebody
I
would
think
know.
Now, I don't know who's gonna do that. Who's gonna put the little
I
sign
don't
up?
like the idea of putting a sign up there that says, hey, the gates are open. for-
Well, us getting an incident report's not that big a deal, right? I mean,
No, you just throw the.
Yeah, but we have to
Ninth on
answer
the
them.
list.
So I'll go back to the rules one. Did anyone answer, Fulkerson with the dogs?
I seen that too.
If it was, it would be Desiree. I
Yeah,
don't know if she did or not.
So is that a range? I mean, I know it's a Jefferson County ordinance that you cannot have an unleashed dog.
Right.
Outside. of the
Pet,
yard.
isn't it?
But
It's in our covenants.
It's in our.
I think.
I just think that
and
we
I-
owe
Glenn,
it
I
to
think-
everyone to answer quickly.
I think, we as a board, I don't know what the answer is, except whoever gets that, I think Desiree gets those, and it's been taken care of. She addressed
Oh.
it, but it's like, it shouldn't be anybody else's business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She
but
didn't
how do
do
we
that.
know that if I'm,
I think Desiree gets in touch with, or
I know that
says
if
that.
it's a Lakes and Beaches thing, then it comes directly to me. If it's emailed to Lakes and Beaches, it comes to me and possibly to Forest. But if it's a dog running loose, I mean, I don't know if the computer knows that needs to go to Desiree, so.
Well,
She
comes up as an
probably gets
incident.
copied on everything.
got it from the incident report.
It was an incident
So
report.
the incident reports go to her.
Everybody, all of us should be.
I think
getting
that's
incident
what Glenn is
reports.
saying. I'm saying, I'm wondering why it wasn't being answered, but if it's.
me
been-
too, me too.
I think it's been answered. I mean, I don't know for
Well,
sure.
if you, the thing, the key is if you are responsible for it, rules, roads, events, whatever, reply all and say, hey, I got this, I'm taking care of it.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what, yeah.
I just thought we should get back to him, but I didn't know who should, and I'm glad to hear somebody.
I think Desiree did. And
Yeah.
Wendy, when she comes back, will ask, but I'm almost sure she did. Because I
Again,
questioned
none
on
of
it.
us know, so
Again,
reply
awareness,
all,
communication, just-
Yeah, I agree with that, Dave.
starting to sound like my wife.
Sounded like everyone I've ever worked with.
Just let
Oh,
me.
you're on your work record too.
Yeah. Is that it? Anything else?
Oh, I do have from Desiree, the rules. We did work on the rules manual and all the things that were approved ballot items. We have got those updated. Now Desiree wants to look one more time. She said there were some typos and stuff that she wants to look at before we get it live online, but we did get that taken care of. So the thing with the pets, the propane tanks, the boat sticker placement, use of lots for business, tent camping, and the parking on undeveloped lots, that's all been changed in the rules manual. So we're good on that.
Is there anything in the covenants that need to be updated per any of those?
I don't think so.
That I think Wendy sent you the, cause don't you do the,
Yes, but I have not received anything.
She sent the covenant, I think Wendy sent the covenant to, in September. Let me see.
I remember Nikki asking me about it, but I don't remember ever getting it.
I think what I'll do is.
so you went
just-
to the 11.
I'll work
we
with
gotta do
Tom.
that too.
on the smell thing. And then when we make a decision to, we're gonna do it, I'll let the board know.
So,
Yeah, I just think.
my question, Wendy, was,
Our decision,
when
we're gonna
Desiree did
open
and
Friday
answered
through Tuesday or
one
Monday or just
dog,
today or whatever.
right, so when,
And that way
when there's a
everybody in the
rules
board
problem or
knows,
whatever,
then.
yes,
Close the
she-
back off
she-
again as a district.
And that is all updated now.
Just so the board.
he wanted to ask about the covenants. The covenants are all updated
I
and
sent the covenants to Nikki at the end of September and the bylaws put on there, and she's waiting for Dave to make a table of contents.
I don't
Yes.
have the new file.
discuss it.
Well, I sent them to her
Yeah.
in
It-
September.
it-
They were done.
Just include the-
They've been recorded at the
Desiree said
recorder's
something
office.
about she, you know, she sent a.
All right, I'll ask her for it, but I don't have
Sensor
it.
to the guy.
You just wait next time you're send them the file of the
What is it, a
jointly covenant.
Say it again?
You did the Word
Last time.
document,
Yeah.
can you just resend it to him straight to
Yeah.
Dave?
Well, this just-
Oh, you updated the Word doc?
I have,
Yeah,
I
sometimes
have,
I'll-
and I sent it to Nikki,
And he
I
said.
think it was September 28th.
Oh, she
And I gave it
needs
to
to
John.
table contents.
She's. I don't know if that changes much.
The people
If
said-
you didn't change anything number wise, it'll update automatically.
She has to put it on there.
He said it
Hold up.
would have been a bloodbath.
She's
if
had it
that-
since
Oh, yeah.
September.
She
Yeah.
probably
See, I
thought
don't
there
have the
was
same
something
problem.
to be
I've got a
changed,
dog.
I
I got
guess.
She
say
said she was,
85
it says it in the email. She was
Yeah,
waiting.
Did she
I
copy
walk
me
on a
on
leash twice a day.
Cause I don't
That
have
was a long time
anything.
ago.
She does not like other dogs,
I'll ask her.
but she's on a
Get it
leash and
on.
I
I
make
think it
sure
does
she's
record.
controlled.
Okay, all
And
right.
there's other
You
people
said
that
that-
walk around that
that-
don't have their dogs on a leash.
Hey, hang on one second.
But, and it's fine because they're,
You
their
said-
dogs, you know, hang around them, but they
Fulkerson's incident report did get responded to?
Yes.
Somebody,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
I just think if it goes to all of us, we should all know. Not that I want to be involved, I don't want anybody, if I know anything. I just thought somebody should say something and I didn't know who would respond.
So if we respond to an incident.
Totally
report, we should
agree, Ken.
probably Just let the
Let
board know,
everybody
hey,
know.
this is what happened. Cause I've
You
communicated.
know,
back.
just, I've taken care of this.
Yeah, I've
I
taken
didn't
care.
have to know the outcome.
Right.
Just, it's been addressed, I think.
Right.
I think.
It's been addressed.
Address, answer everybody in 24 hours, even if it's, I'll have to get back to you. I like that idea of answering everybody in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But what, Kent, what is the protocol if you're not comfortable answering, going to the board and say,
Then I think you
Can I
send
answer?
an email or a text to everybody and just say, hey, what do you guys think about this? The best decisions are made by committee, not individual.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, we would, I think, Glenn, I can say that you just don't know what you can say or what you can ask, and you're like, I don't wanna do anything wrong.
Right, everyone
but-
is just analysis paralysis.
Right,
I would
analysis
say-
by paralysis. that's
If
it.
it's your committee, you're the chair or co-chair, you should respond and say, I'm on it or something, or what, maybe even that I've spoken to the person. If you're not that committee chair, then really it's not on you to do anything
That's
other
cool, I
than we hope everybody's.
I was confused on who should even respond.
Mhm.
I think we're all confused about that, Dave.
Yeah, most
Committee chair, yeah.
incidents go to, are usually a rule of some sort, but
That's what, yeah, most of my rules are communication.
Okay.
so if it's your, everybody here and we'll let them.
You guys know what your committees are. I'll send this
But we
out.
all agree to reply all,
But
right?
in
Yeah.
case it's a
Reply.
rule infraction that involves,
Does-
I don't know. something-
And just trust what we say, even if it's not nice.
Knowing that somebody responded would be helpful to me.
Right,
I don't wanna tell somebody, a beach goer that made that broke a rule that, okay, now that's my issue. If Desiree's already told them one thing, I don't wanna tell them something else.
right, right.
You know, so just communicate, awareness is all I'm
Okay.
asking.
I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Open forum.
50.
I just have one,
Name and-
John,
Yes.
when you were talking about delinquent assessments. You have an idea how many are from resident versus lot owners? How many, what's the percentage that are delinquent?
No, but I would tell you it's probably in the high 90s that are a lot of owners.
Because you mentioned something about them, I thought I heard you say something about them turning off their access. So is that not, where is that in the process?
If it's a lot owner, we turn all their access off if they own them.
As soon as they're delinquent after?
Well, we didn't turn them off until. Was that late
November.
October, and early November, but we will be doing it much quicker. Next year, probably gonna happen in. August, end of August, September timetable. The lot homeowners, we left the first two cards on. Dave talked to our attorney Ted, and he's like, you know. Don't open that can of worms, so we left, but we turned guest gate access, we turned all the other cards off. And we communicated it many times before it happened.
I'm guessing the Wi-Fi password got changed here,
Yep.
cause I have neither now.
You probably don't have your vehicles registered, so it got turned off.
My vehicle runs, I'll tell you.
Yeah, wrong license plate. See ya.
Yeah, that's interesting, cause my truck don't have a back one.